All right. Should be online, back online again. Sorry, Wyland. Trying to trying to get a hold. It's so weird. My mic is way high. Let me see if I can. Uh, yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, that's better. Guys, say something that way I can confirm whether or not. Uh, is what? Oh, yeah. Um, say something else, Eric. What the fuck? Like, honestly, like, they can't. Hold on, guys. Nobody can hear you guys. So let's uh, let's see if I can fix some things here. Okay, say something now, guys.
Frank has the Kevin Bacon curse, doesn't he?
I think break said something bad about Kevin Bacon. Oh, you know what it was? We didn't add the following to the top 64 greatest horror TV
You
shows of all
son
time.
of a bit. This is your fault then. I have done everything I could. I have sacrificed at least 5 Trump supporters to him this week.
Oh man, you've been like totally like crazy. Um,
Don't doing what I can to appease my Lord and Savior Kevin Bacon.
I'm telling you, man. Although Kevin Bacon's probably a Trump supporter, but we won't
No,
say
I
anything on that.
doubt that.
I don't doubt it. Okay, I got one more thing to do, then we'll get the show started. I know we're
I
starting a
mean,
little.
maybe he is. I don't like. I
I'm
just like.
most
I think
most
most
rich.
Hollywood people are, you know, on the left. And why is Twitch not loading? What the hell?
I don't know, but don't worry about it too much, break, because I'm still having some issues here.
No, like,
Um,
now Google doesn't want to. What in the shitstorm of hell is going on now?
what's going on with you, break?
My shit's not loading.
Oh,
Just take.
well, we got a
Trying to
few
get
minutes.
into Google and it's not loading, and Twitch doesn't want to load. Like I just
Uh,
irritated.
yeah. Wyland, levels sound okay? Just wondering if everybody sounds kind of even, or if anybody sounds lower or what, because I've been having some awful audio issues, man. But I think I got them worked out. Sounds good. Okay, right on. Appreciate that, Wyland. Yeah, the following did not make the cut on our list. Sorry to spoil.
Oh, the following was good though.
I like the following. Okay, it kind
Oh
of.
man, it had some great villains. Like Joe was the fucking best. Like I loved
Yeah.
him as a villain.
Yeah, did not make the cut, Breakman. Did not.
No,
I
just
had I had to make some sacrifices, and that was one that I was like, man, I really wanted to put on the list, but it just didn't make the cut, man. I had to
it's fine. It's
make
fine.
some sacrifices.
I just
So
I just loved Joe as like a serial killer. He enjoyed being a serial killer. You know, you don't usually see like somebody having that much fun murdering.
yeah. Season 3 was butt cheeks. Wyland says, yeah. And that's another reason. Like some of these
Mm,
series, like the
it's true.
last, like for instance, like Dexter's one of the series. I love Dexter, except like the last 2 seasons were just ass, man. Like
Yeah, like that's one of those shows that when it was on, I didn't have access to it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch this when it's over, and then that's all I've heard is the last 2 seasons were so bad. I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm not gonna watch this
so
show.
terrible, man. Like that show was so good, and then like the last 2 seasons were
Yeah,
just.
I hate that. I've quit shows before when they change. It's just like I could just like, why? I liked what you were, not what you're becoming.
There
I've got
there
other things to do.
there may be a few shows on here that are like that.
Mm.
So Wyland says the following is based on the original idea for Scream 3. Yeah, yeah, I did know that, Wyland. That was yeah. Hey, break your.
Scream 3 was basically a comedy.
Yeah, yeah. Break your. I don't know if your mic's too close to your face and you're kind of rubbing on it, or. Yeah,
Um,
it's
but
just
now,
like Yeah, it's much better, dude. Like I kept hearing like scratching on your mic, and I'm like, oh man, that's. I'm sure that plays really good into listeners' ears. But okay,
Twitch still is not loading for me. Why are you not loading? Why is Google not load? What in the
we
fuck is
can
up with my shit?
we can break, or Eric and I can take the news if you're having issues, man. It's not a problem. It wasn't his face, Wyland says. Oh
Huh?
God, Wyland, don't even say that, man. God, that's disgusting. You're disgusting, Wyland. Ugh. You know
What
what
are we talking
Wyland's
about?
Wyland's insinuating that you had your dick on the mic, man. That's what he's insinuating.
Oh, got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we haven't started yet. We're the RP Grinders. I'm on with Eric and Break, and we'll be talking a lot of shit on this show today. I guarantee. Guaranteed. Hopefully we'll have a fight or two. I'm hoping, but we'll see. Wasn't his face? Yeah. Okay. He didn't. Oh, you didn't deny it. Wyland said you did not deny it. Break.
Nope.
Oh
No, I didn't.
God, that is so gross. All right, looks like Freak Five's in chat too. Well, I see him in there. You know, I sent Freak Five a package, right?
Yep.
Not my package, but a package.
Not your package. I thought that was a picture of your package. I'm just looking on Twitter. Somebody said hired John Cena to drag Trump out of the White House, put it on pay-per-view.
No, what I really, and I was talking to we'll get into it later because I'm sure we're gonna talk a lot about it. But let's start the show. What do you guys say? You ready, Eric?
Yeah.
All right, you ready, Break?
I guess my stuff's still not loading here.
Well, Eric and I'll take care of the news. There's not a ton of news, so we'll take
We
care.
should make Eric do the whole news since he slept in on us last week.
Maybe that should be his penance. Do all the news. Okay, here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1, boom. Welcome, everybody, to episode 616 of RP Grinders. I'm your host, Frank Branches, alongside my trusty cohorts, Eric the Great, Breakman the Bold. Gentlemen, how are you on this contested election day?
My feet are sore.
Perfect.
Bringing him right up. Oh, because you were rushing to the ballot box to vote again.
No, because I've been working all this time
Yeah.
on 10 hours and Saturdays.
Freak Five's in chat. What's up, Freak Five? Nice to see you in there.
The
Wyland's
Saturdays aren't 10s, but the weekdays are.
Yeah. Wyland was in chat early. He heard all of our audio issues earlier, so he knows what we go through on this show.
I'm still having internet issues. I am plugging myself into the fucking router because this is stupid ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, go ahead and do that, man. Like, honestly. Audio issues aside, gentlemen, we have a heck of a show for everybody today. We're going to be talking, obviously, some politics later on in the show. We're going to be talking, the usual RPG news in the news. I have an unusual review for you all today. It has nothing to do with the video game, but I'll have that later on in the show. We'll be talking some Stinkos, Sweetos, and then
Are you gonna review a sex toy?
close.
He bought a Sibian, didn't he?
I did. Yeah, right up my ass. The Sibian is awesome, man.
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
It's awesome. So we got a quick preview.
No, you guys will see. It's not even gonna be a full review, to be honest with you, because I can't fully review it. I'll explain later. Our free for all this week or this month is gonna be the greatest TV horror show of all time. It was a hard list to put together. I'm gonna be just straight up honest with everybody. It was a hard list. I found a pretty good list, but I had to. I mean, if I had went with the Rotten Tomatoes editorial list of the top horror shows of all time, like more than half of the shows I didn't see. So I talked to Eric. I got input from Eric, a little bit of input from Break. And I think we put together a decent list. So hopefully, nobody's too upset with us all. But without further ado, Eric and I are going to take care of the news.
RPG News.
All right, Eric, you are up.
Okay, from RPG site.
I like how
I don't know
Eric-
why, but for whatever
Off
reason,
1 week and he's completely forgot how to do everything.
no, it's just I don't know why, but the links aren't in the actual links. It's the description of the article.
Yeah, I did that, Eric.
That's what threw me off.
Yeah, I did that. You can do that. You just in the Google Doc, you instead of like writing a, I like your descriptions, but you can just do the description a lot easier. So that's what I did. So go ahead.
Well, we should just delete everything else then.
No, it's okay. Just feel free, because I like your descriptions too, Eric. It's fine.
Square Enix has updated the Steam and mobile versions of Final Fantasy IV with a new interface and more languages.
Huh.
For the Steam version specifically, the game now supports a brand new user interface and supports a full screen display, including for ultra wide aspect ratios. I think it meant 4 as in the number 4, but whatever. Several Asian languages have also been added to the game, and for the mobile version, it says I guess small bug fixes have been made, and that's it.
Well, that's good. How much would you pay, Breakman, for a Final Fantasy 4, 5, or 6 remake, like to modern standards, like they did with 7?
This is the one based on the DS game, by the way.
Yeah. Did we lose Break?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we might have lost Break. But how much did you pay, Eric? Because I think I'd pay like a good $50 for.
Well, what are you talking
6.
about? Like, we've already got several remakes of 4 already.
No. I mean like a 6 remake in the vein of a 7 remake, or 4 or 5.
I don't know how much more you could stretch that game's narrative, because those games are kind of threadbare.
Well,
I mean, even with as much story as 6 has, it's still pretty brief.
I think you could get at least one game out of it for sure, but whatever. But anyways, so there you go. Anything else on that, Eric?
Here's a full update for the PC. Items updated. Completing the interface. Gamepad compatibility has been optimized. I guess some controllers didn't work right. Small adjustments to keyboard, mouse, and touch panel operations have also been made. Full screen now available. Full screen display available until 21.9. That looks off somehow. I think they meant like ratio, but whatever.
Yeah. And then some languages there. Yeah.
Chinese simplified, Chinese traditional, Korean, Thai, and Japanese.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I guess. Freak 5, there's a package in the mail for you. Just be looking out for that. I sent off a package today, so you will probably get it within, I don't know, 4 or 5 days.
I'm actually kind of surprised at this point that Square hasn't ported the DS port or DS remake of Final Fantasy IV to other platforms.
Is that because of the way that the DS handled the touchscreen, maybe, type deal?
Not really, because you could just do an overlay at that point to see the map, because that's all the second screen did in that game, really.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Slagar's in chat. What's up, Slagar? I think you're going to enjoy today's show. Yeah, Freak 5, I couldn't bring myself to send you a ton of what may or may not be in the mail for you. But just be on the lookout for it, man. It's some of my best, man. There may or may not be critical mass in there. And critical mass is awesome, just to let you know. All right, next story comes to us from RPG site. Hellpoint to release for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS in 2021. So I think we heard about Hellpoint on the show at some point
Yeah,
previously.
and like I listened to Jim Sterling's Chipquisition podcast, and he sounded like it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe him because it looked rough from the previews.
Yeah, most games coming out now are pretty rough when they release, but they eventually become fairly good. I mean, look at what was that one game, Outer Worlds, I think, kind of it was in that vein of coming out kind of rough and then ended up being, really good.
Actually, I don't remember it being rough, but I do remember the Switch version being like
Yeah.
almost unplayable.
Yeah. There's a
I've heard that Fallout 76 is actually pretty fun now.
Yeah, see, that's another example. They've kind of turned that. I don't want to say all the way around, but they.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not enough to salvage it, but you can at least probably get.
Yeah,
a
at
few
least
hours
it's a
enjoying it.
playable game. Slagar says Outer Worlds is great. It wasn't great when it first came out, Slagar. That's what I was saying. Like it's great. Was it Outer Worlds or am I thinking of another one that came out like that? But it was really rough.
No Man's Sky, maybe?
No Man's Sky. That's the one. Outer Worlds was the really good one from the beginning. But yeah, No Man's Sky. That's the one. You're right. Thanks, Break. There's a performance mode on Hellpoint, dynamic 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. I think that's the way that I would go with this game. And native 4K at 30 frames. I think I'd go with the dynamic because there's not that much of a difference, to be honest. I heard stuff about Spider-Man on PS5, like how if you take the ray tracing off, which the ray tracing is gorgeous, but
I thought that they did that permanently. Like it's not even an option now. They just got rid of ray tracing.
Freak 5 is exiled in chat, you son of a bitch.
Ray tracing is pointless at this stage of the game because they haven't figured out how to make it work well.
No, it's not. I just saw Digital Foundry on Miles Morales today, Eric, and ray tracing in that game at least is used in the right way. Like you know how like when you
It's like the only example though. So.
Yeah, well that's all. That's what the whole kind of the whole
It has
point
to
of ray
start
tracing.
somewhere.
Yeah, that's the whole kind of point of ray tracing, man, is to like dynamic like mirrored shadows and stuff like that.
And if you want an opposite of that, look at Call of Duty.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I'm interested in Miles Morales. I'm gonna wait till that game goes down in price. But I want to test it out in both modes because I mean 60 frames per second is the target that I've been talking about for years. Ray tracing, although it's really really pretty and it you can see the video online. Digital Foundry did a really bang up job on their review of Miles Morales, but it's not a huge difference other than that more realistic kind of mirror effect that you see on buildings and stuff. But it does add a nice touch. Solid resolution at 30 frames is pretty good, but 60 frames, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. All right, Eric, next story, please.
Next story is from RPG site as well, and it's about a game called Star Renegades, and it's got a date for November 19th, the Xbox One and the Switch, and PlayStation 4 up. It says September, but it's probably December. They fucked up. So,
Yeah.
December 8th, and this is that weird procedurally generated roguelike tactical RPG.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to play it, but I don't know if I like the idea of it being a tactical turn-based game in the Darkest Dungeon style.
It looks really pretty. I mean, that's one thing I have to say about this game. I'm not a strategy, tactical playing, role player, but this game is. I mean, I got to call a spade a spade. It looks really, really good. I mean, I
need to inquire about reviewing this.
Yeah,
if possible.
that'd be nice.
So.
Slagar says, anyone else playing Marvel Puzzle Quest? Slagar, I played that game every day for the past over 5 years. So
maybe at the very least it'll be more accessible than Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Darkest Dungeon's really tough, man. Love this game, Slagar says. Yeah, Marvel Puzzle Quest is one of the best match 3 games going, man. It's really good, man. I have a lot of I still don't have any 5-star champions after all these years, but I got a lot of 4-star champions, so that's cool. Okay, next story comes to us from RPGsite.net. Saviors of Sapphire Wings, Stranger of Sword City revisited to release on March 16th in North America, March 19th in Europe. So this first time I think I've heard about this game.
No, we talked about it before.
Really? I don't remember.
It's a combo pack of 2 different games.
Okay.
They're both by experience.
That's right. Dungeon crawling roguelike. Yeah. I remember now. I'm looking at the video.
It's a roguelike, so you probably tried to forget.
No, it's not a roguelike. It's just a dungeon crawler.
Just a dungeon crawler? Okay. All right. Well, it looks okay. You know what it looks like to me? It looks like Etrian Odyssey in a way. I don't know. But nice art style. Okay. I'm down. So there you go. So if you're waiting for that one, March 16th here and March 19th in Europe. All right, Eric, next story, please.
Next story is about a game called Temtem, which you've talked about before, but it's coming to PS5 and apparently early access. So even console games are getting early access releases now. But December 8th is the date it drops.
Okay.
And it'll have crossplay between the PS5 and the PC.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything about whether or not I'll have crossplay with the Switch or the Xbox, though, but probably because Sony. Probably not.
Yeah. MMORPG. So there you go.
The title makes me feel old, though, because the title makes me think of Ren 1010, and that's so fucking old. It's like, oh, shit.
It's not quite an MMO, but like it has multiplayer functions, but it is a Pokemon clone.
You know, I haven't heard Ren 1010's name in a long time, Breakman.
Yeah, me either.
Jesus, that brings me way back, dude. Ugh. Okay.
Way back to the when your parents forced you to watch boring television shows day.
Pretty much. All right.
This is a classic from when I was young. You have to watch this, son.
I know.
5 seconds later, shoot me, God, please. This is the worst thing ever.
I hated a lot of those shows, man. Like My Three Sons and
oh god, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a horrible show.
Yeah, My Three Sons of Bitches is what they should have called that show. Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Age S Definitive Edition demo, now available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Windows 10, and Steam. I don't think I need to say anything more about Dragon Quest XI. It's great. You should check it out. I did my review.
The only caveat to this version of the game is that it's based on the Switch version, which means that there's lower textures on the stuff like trees and whatever.
Why would you
want
that?
In Game Pass?
Yeah, because I guess Square was lazy and they didn't want to have the assets from the PS4 version.
Oh boy, lazy ass motherfuckers. To answer your question, Break, I'm not sure. I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
No, they already announced it's coming to Game Pass.
Oh, it is? Great.
Yeah.
Then
that's what I'm trying to... I thought it was coming this year. That's what I was trying to...
That's awesome, man. That'll give you a chance to check it out, man.
Although I imagine if you buy it on PC, hackers or modders will find a way to put the old assets back in.
Yeah, and probably enhance it even, which would be even better.
Ooh, will they put boobies in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm pretty sure this game won't play at 60. Sorry.
Eric is like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Jade has some bitty big boobs.
Yeah, she does, man. Jade is hot as hell in that game. You know. But yeah.
But what I was trying to say, but I didn't catch break in time, but to stop myself, but the game probably won't run at 60 frames on your PS5 or your Xbox Series X because it is capped at 30.
Yeah, that's the shitty thing I saw about digital.
I mean, they could make a patch, but since Square was lazy enough to not have new assets for the game.
Honestly, I don't think it would.
I guess maybe not. At least not this year.
I don't see how it would benefit all that much from 60 frames per second. To be honest, maybe in the cutscenes, Eric, but it's not It's not one of those
Yeah,
games.
it's a turn-based game, so it doesn't really need.
Yeah, it's not one that really needs a 60 frame. But I do find that a little disappointing that a lot of games are capped at 30. Like Bloodborne is one of them. If ever there could be, like, somebody already did a 60 frames per second patch on PC for
Yeah,
Bloodborne.
hire that guy from software. Just hire him and then make a patch for the game.
Yeah,
later.
I totally agree. That guy did a really good job. I saw his work, man. It looks great. Freak5 says Mr. Ed was the shit. You should just shorten that to say Mr. Ed was shit. Freak5 also says they need to put more boobs in all games. I agree. More boobs and dicks. Why not? Let's be fair to both sexes here. Freak5 also says give Mario boobs, give Bowser boobs, give the Goombas boobs. I don't know about the Goombas, but I don't know. And definitely not Mario. But maybe give Princess Peach some boobs. That'd be nice. Okay. Eric, next story, please. M. Bison, Ken, and Ryu. Yeah.
Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack is dated, and it's not loading for some reason. Okay, here we go. December 3rd for North America and Europe. So that's a Friday release for everybody. Yay. But I think it's because Nintendo might be publishing this version. That's why. But
Yeah.
Bamco has been doing Friday releases, so it's not uncommon.
Yeah, I better stop playing this video because fucking anytime I play a Bandai Namco.
Anyways, this is a double pack of 2 Taiko no Tatsujin games, which were RPGs, and they were only on the 3DS. And you can buy the Taiko Drum controller for $70 to play with the games. And 130 music tracks in total.
Yeah. Hey, Break, are you there?
Yes.
I'm gonna hang up on you, Break. I'll pull you back up, man. Oh, I just lost Break. Let's see if we can get Break back in. Yeah, that's a cool rhythm game. We talked about Taiko no Tatsujin. How do you say it? Tatsujin?
Tatsujin.
Yeah, Tatsujin before. Trying to get a hold of Break again. But we'll see. I've got one more story for you guys here. We have you back, Break. Back Break. Okay, Best Buy stores will only sell the PS5 and Xbox Series X online initially. This comes to us from Silicon Era. So, I mean, I don't think that's such a big deal. Like, I think that's a better way of doing it, especially with
My only problem is whether or not they'll sell out like they've done before.
Well, they will, because the demand is super high. I'm even worried.
Which means I'm probably not going to get one because I'm going to take the day off anyway. But like the website's going to be slammed.
I thought you were getting yours directly from Sony, Eric.
I'm talking about the Series X.
Oh, you're gonna try to get a Series X. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna worry about the Series X until Halo comes out. To be honest.
But like, if I don't get one, then fine. I'll just get it later.
Yeah.
But...
Break. Do we have you now?
I hope so.
Yes, we got you. Okay, cool.
Thank God.
Yeah. Sorry for your problems, man. That really sucks.
Skype,
Well, like,
man.
all I know is Walmart's not opening up orders for it. The X on the 10th, and I guess as well as the PS5 on the 12th.
Yeah.
At like noon. So that means that most other sites are probably doing the same.
You know that it's going to be sold out instantly when they put it online because like it's hard to even get like a headset for the PS5. Like I've got a review later for an accessory that is sold out in a lot of places, which is really
resellers are the worst.
They are.
Just
They
fuck
are.
those people.
Yeah, especially the ones on eBay.
I'm not even gonna buy with the charger cradle. I never buy those things. I don't see the point in them. I always use a charging cable, a USB cable.
Eric, how dare you? And I'll tell you why later on in the show.
I have a request because just in case I get bumped off and they don't hear it.
No, don't do it. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, God. This is the worst show ever. An extended version this week. This is awful. Oh, boy. I like the little
If Drake should
extended.
put boobs on the harmonica, then he can be home motorboating it.
If
Yes,
Look,
yes.
if Break put
Yes.
boobs on that harmonica, that harmonica would never leave his mouth, man. Don't give him any goddamn ideas, man. Jesus Christ, Eric, what's wrong with you? I should exile you for that. No homie discounts. They still got the CD Plus, CD keys thing for $32 for PS Plus, but that's about it. I mean, there's another sale on PlayStation, but it's pretty much the same things that we go over all the time. So there's nothing. Should I play your music, Break?
No.
Okay. No Dear Breakman this week. If you want to send Breakman a question that we will most definitely read on air, you can do so at RP Grinders on Twitter. Freak5, don't encourage him. Jesus Christ. He says, brilliant idea. How dare you? How dare you both? All right. Let's move on to, if I could find it here.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know what you've been playing, Breakman.
Well, you talked about a game you've been playing for a long time, so I might as well bring up the South Park game I've been playing for about 3 years now, and I know that because it's third year anniversary. I was just, goddamn, this game's been out for that long.
I know, that's weird, man. It's like Marvel Puzzle Quest, man. I can't believe I've been playing that for 5 fucking years.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, like.
Oh,
how much-
we had one more article actually that you missed.
We did? Did you just add it, Eric?
I added it like a while ago before we started.
Oh, God. Oh,
you
the
missed it.
Fire Emblem. Jesus Christ.
Fire Emblem Three Houses sell 3 million copies sold, so it's the best-selling Fire Emblem game ever.
I heard it's really good. I never got a chance to play it, but I might at some point. But that's good news. All right, Breakman. Sorry. What have you been playing?
Okay. Anyway, where were we? Friday the 13th mostly, other than the South Park. Friday the 13th on my Switch, but gotten better at Friday the 13th. I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna play it since the season's over with and stuff like that. But I feel like I've gotten better at it, so I'm kind of going for some of the harder achievements now, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. Did you say you're playing it on the Switch?
No, I said and my Switch also.
Oh,
Switch. No,
okay,
I'm
yeah.
playing it on the Xbox. Sorry,
Okay.
didn't mean to muddle those.
Yeah. It's all good.
And like Mario 35 and whatever else on my Switch, I forget.
All right.
Yeah, because Doom Eternal is not on the Switch yet.
Speaking.
No, I didn't even touch it this week, honestly.
Quick homie discount for you, Breakman. Breath of the Wild is $45 at Target. If you want to pick it up, slightly cheaper than the norm.
It still is. I thought that sale ended on Sunday.
No, it's still going on, man. So
Maybe it was a new sale. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I saw you playing Mario last night. Freak5 says.
Is there a way
Breakman.
we can play together? But then again, like when one of us is out, then what happens to the other person, stuff like that. Yeah, I guess.
I don't
we
know.
can't play together.
I feel like 35 is a random assortment of people getting together.
Yeah.
And but like the only game I know you can do matchmaking on is Smash and Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
Maybe ARMS.
Nintendo's online sucks, man. Let's just be honest. Like it just sucks. It's nothing near Xbox and PS4 quality at all.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Break?
No, that's it.
All right, Eric, you're up. What you been playing?
I think the Super Mario 3D World will have online matchmaking though, because you can play online with that. And I imagine they'd want people to be able to play with their friends.
Yeah. All right, Eric.
I played New Super Mario Bros. U DX. I finished Cold Steel 4. That was like 2 weeks ago. So this is stuff from last week. But I also played a game called Undead Darlings, which is a dungeon crawling game that kind of reminds me of the Mario Chronicle games and games like stuff like that. I forget what the full name of the game was, but Dungeon Travelers, yeah, that's what it was called. But without the super lewd aspects of those games.
Okay.
But it's a fun enough game, but I think it needs a few improvements to really get it up there because it's missing some things that should be standard in both genres that it has, because dungeon crawler slash visual novel type game.
Huh. That's interesting, but it doesn't master either. See, I like games when they.
That's not about masters. Like, if you're doing visual novel segments, you should have a log of all the conversations. And the worst aspect of it all is like the game's not completely voice acted, so you might have trouble reading the game's unusual font choice.
Mm-hmm.
And especially since the selections you make when characters give you decision trees is small compared to the text in the text box. So that looks even worse when you're playing in portable mode.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What else you been playing?
And the other problem I had with the game is that it's got absurd load times.
All right, Eric. Let's move on. What else you been playing?
Cthulhu Saves Christmas, which is made by the Zeboy guys, and it uses the same engine as Cosmic Star Heroine, but it's the Cthulhu gang.
Oh man, Cosmic Star Heroine's a great game.
So who's the villain in that? If he's trying to save Christmas, does he kill Santa Claus or something? Or does he got to fight Ernest at the end?
He's a character from A Christmas Carol. That's all I can say.
I did start to watch a movie. I was gonna have a review for a movie called Santa Jaws, but I didn't finish it. So,
but anyways, speaking of load issues, Vigil the Longest Night, which is a fun Salt and Sanctuary like game, Metroidvania style type game, but it suffers on the Switch from a host of issues that they are addressing, but I don't know when they'll get patched because the load times are atrocious. The game doesn't seem optimized because it lags at points, and the game will crash on you occasionally.
Ooh, Slagar says, I want a 4K 60 frames per second Monkey Ball. I hope that game comes, Slagar. Monkey Ball is a great fucking game.
Well, Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD came out a while ago on the PS4 and the Switch. And the Switch version already is at 60, but you don't get 4K with that. But the PS4, I imagine, would, especially on a PS5.
Yeah, Slagar's like calling you Outbreak, man. $100 bucks.
They're not $100 right now. If I want a tiny one, I'm talking about like a big TV.
Like how big, dude? Like you can get a Vizio like 65-inch for like $300, dude.
Yeah, that's not 100.
But
that's different.
Anyways, the other games I've been playing are Yes Tomorrow, which also has performance issues, and I hope it's something that they can fix. But there's also like weird graphical glitches that I noticed and crashing. So
I can get over a lot of stuff.
Games
crashing
that released before they were ready. Anyways, the other game I played was Ori 2, because I finished Mario, so I went back to that game.
I want a 60 frames per second Bloodborne, but we all can't.
And I'll have a review of Mario later with something else. So yeah, that's all I've been doing.
I played Marvel Puzzle Quest, as we talked about earlier. I've been playing that game every day for like 5 years. I don't think I've missed but maybe 1 or 2 days in that entire time. Also been playing Bard's Tale Remastered, and I got to a point where it's just way too difficult. Like the enemies that I'm running up against now, there's no I mean it's endless spawning. Like if the enemies didn't endlessly spawn, then I could get where I need to go and continue, but there's no way of clearing out this dungeon without like running into 50 gajillion. I guess the best way to do it is just level up, like sit there and fucking grind for like hours and then grind a few levels, but even then, I mean, they surround you and then before you know it, it's over even if you heal. So it's gotten ridiculous.
Have you looked for a strategy guide or anything?
I looked online, Breakman, but none of them really tell you like it's not. It's a matter of attrition. You know what I mean? Like you're going through this dungeon, and it's no big deal at first, but when you get like 6, 7, 8, 9 of these enemies on screen at a time, and they're all hitting you at the same time, it seems like there's no time. You can't like run past them. They'll chase you, and then you got like 16 enemies after you, and then I mean it becomes ridiculous at a point is what I'm trying to say, and there's no getting around that. Even if I use all
Right.
my extra like summons and stuff like that, like it's not the funnest thing in the world. I think I know a strategy going forward. I'm just gonna you know grind, for lack of a better way of doing it, like 4, 5, 6, 7 levels, and do it that way. But that's all I've been playing, so not too much. All right, let's move on to
RP Grinders reviews.
All right, we got some reviews, Eric. Actually, Break, did you have any reviews this week before we got to
I don't
Eric?
even know what I did this week.
All right, Eric.
You must have been praying to the statue of Kevin Bacon all week.
Yeah. All right, Eric, what you got for us?
Anyways, I know Frank reviewed this a while ago, but this is my take. New Super Mario Brothers U DX. First of all, the title is stupid because it's like, let's call it Super Mario. Let's remake Super Mario Brothers, but since it's new, we're gonna add new on the title.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is the 4th entry into the new Super Mario Brothers series, following
Not
the
very
original.
new when it's a series, right?
Yeah, following the Wii release, but this is actually a port of the Wii U version, which is why they use it in the title. But it's called Deluxe because now you can play as Toadette instead of having a different colored Toad, and she can pick up the Super Crown, which lets you do a double jump and float like Toad.
It turns you into Princess Peach.
It is a convoluted way of getting Peach in the game because the original game had you rescue Peach, because of course.
Yeah, of course.
Mm.
All right.
So it makes the game a lot easier and more accessible, and it makes it easier to get those coins that you need to get through the Star World, because you can only play so many levels if you don't get them all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a world beyond that too if you get all the star coins in those levels. But I didn't want to bother with all that.
Yeah, like to me, like Mario Brothers gets less fun when they're just trying to make the stages as hard as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah.
But the game's fun enough. But like one of the issues I've had with the entire series is the presentation's kind of cheap looking. It's always looked that way, and if you die in a level, it just kicks you out. It's like, why can't you just start me from the checkpoint? Why do I have to reselect the level?
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, I can see how that might be helpful if you want to give up on the level and go do something else.
Or you
Yeah.
want to use a power up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of annoying. Like, give me the option at least.
Slagar says the worst thing about being past election day, 50 more car warranty calls. Huh, that's
Mhm.
interesting. Sorry about that, Slagar. At least you're busy, I guess. I don't know. What else? Oh, so what are you giving new Super Mario U DX, Eric?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Okay.
I want to play it with other people.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to see how
Yeah.
what it's like with other people.
Yeah.
Too bad the game doesn't have co-op online like Super Mario 3D World will have on the
Can we
Switch.
play with our friend codes with each other?
No, because there's no online. I said it's Mario 3D Super Mario 3D World that will have that, not this
Oh.
one.
Okay.
Ooh, that would be fun. That'd be really fun.
Mm.
So I know in the one of the features that is missing from this version that was only available on the Wii U version was the ability to have one of the players draw and stuff like jump pads and stuff like that, and they could actually mess with the other characters and get them killed if they wanted to.
That's
That's
always
pretty
the fun part about those games is like killing other people. Making other people's life difficult in those games is part of the fun.
But the reason it's missing is because you don't have a Wii U gamepad to play with.
Yeah. All right. Any other reviews, Eric?
There's still some nonsensy tilt controls at some levels, though, so keep that in mind. But the other thing I reviewed is I watched a series called Goblin Slayer that's on Funimation, and it's the first season and the movie, which is no longer available now. until they decided to add it back later. But the only reason they put it up is because it had a limited theatrical release, and then they stopped doing that. And I think they were supposed to put it up earlier, but COVID happened, so now they put it up. I guess it has to do with licensing. So if they can afford to get the license to put it back up again, they will. But for now, it was a limited time only thing. But the movie isn't worth watching in my opinion because it's just more of the show, and the show is just okay. I mean, you guys will probably like the premise and you'll probably watch it anyways. But it's basically a D&D campaign, but it's instead of being like a grand adventure, it's just about a guy who, when he was a kid, his village got attacked by goblins, and he was the only survivor, and it severely traumatized him and set him on a path of revenge, and he's just going around slaying goblins. So he's become known as the Goblin Slayer, and he only takes missions that relate to slaying goblins. But like doing this makes him like specialized in hunting goblins, because like a lot of adventurers will like just like take goblins for granted because they've only ever had to deal with one or two. But like if you deal with the entire horde, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. I think I saw a couple episodes of it, and I wasn't super interested in it to be honest, Eric. But I might want to finish it up because it's kind of like sort of like a side quest, not like you said, a grand adventure type
So
deal.
the only high points I could give for the series is I like the opening and ending musics, who are sung by Millie, who does some rather interesting songs, but and the fact that the Goblin Slayer is really creative in how he kills these goblins.
That's cool.
And like it takes like elements from D&D and like, well, what if I use this way in a way that was never meant to be intended?
All right, so what
he used a transport scroll to teleport water from the sea to kill an orc by cutting him into pieces, because I guess that's how the transport spell works. It's transferring the seawater at such a speed that it basically becomes a blade at that point.
Oh, you can do that in D&D, dude. There's all kinds of interesting ways of using any spell, almost any spell in D&D, like or items too. Like, have you ever like I don't know, for those who have played D&D, like bags of infinite holding can be used in interesting ways. Like they really can.
But the show's also got titty in it, well, sort of, but like it's only if you're really interested in watching people get raped.
Ooh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, not so much. Slagar says Funimation, bah, Crunchyroll here. So he's a fan of Crunchyroll. I'd like Crunchyroll too. I haven't had it.
Well, I think the show might be on Crunchyroll, but it's only subtitled because the only thing you can watch on the Funimation version is the English dub.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so what are you giving Goblin Slayer season 1?
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Season 2 might be better. Who knows?
Okay, all right. Fair enough. That's above average.
It's only 13 episodes, so
yeah, it's above average. That's fine. All right, I got an unusual review. Earlier, you were shitting on.
I kind of glazed over the movie, but the movie was basically felt like a rehash of elements of the first season and some other things.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You kind of shit on the charger earlier, Eric, the DualSense charger. Wyland's back. He said he had to record a video of a bug in a game. I'm actually going to review that PS5 DualSense charger because I got it in the mail from Target, because I did order it because I like having the ability to charge multiple things at once without being tethered to my PlayStation. So I did buy one, and I gotta say it's really sleek. It's very small in comparison to other chargers I bought in the past for the previous iterations of the controllers. I I just saved Goblin Slayer. I'll let you know, Slagar says. So there you go. But I like the way that it looks, and I can't give it a full review. I mean, I have it in my hand. There's one thing that I don't like about it is that it's got like a small transformer for this charger, and that's really weird to me. Like, that says to me that it takes a lot of power to charge up these DualSense controllers. But it's really slick. It's got a real slim design. It looks really nice. It looks like a baby version of the PlayStation 5 itself. It's got a black little center kind of console where the DualSense controllers sit on, with a couple of dips, and like the charging port has like a point where you can push down on it, so it's clicked in there nice. And the sides are white, just like the. It looks almost like the PlayStation 5. So
if there's one thing I gotta complain about with Sony's controller designs, it's like that D-pad. Fix that fucking D-pad. It's awful. It's always been awful.
Yeah, I wish they would have redesigned that. I don't have the controller in my hand, but from what I hear,
I'm waiting until DualSense 4.5 to come out.
Yeah,
buy another controller.
Well, I always have to have two at least, so I bought.
They probably won't, but maybe they will if they get enough demand. Otherwise, I'll wait for Scuff to do their own version.
I wish they would take a. Speaking of that controller, I heard it's really nice, and it's the thing that sets the PlayStation 5 basically above the Xbox with the haptic feedback and stuff. But I do wish like they would take a page out of Microsoft's controller, the Elite controller, and put that kind of D-pad on their DualSense. I think that would make them that would make it even better. So let's see, Freak 5, let's see let me catch up on chat here. Wyland says, did you already pick up a controller? I did buy a controller, Wyland, but an extra one. So the one comes with the console, obviously, and I bought an extra one, but I don't have it in my hand just yet. I have to wait till I get my console. You almost did this week. Freak 5 says, notice Break hasn't gotten kicked since he played Harmy. How dare you, Freak 5. His savior, Kevin Bacon must like harmonica music. Slagar says, grandkid said he already is watching that Goblin Slayer. That's cool.
How old is he? Because it's not a kid's show, really.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he's got like adult supervision or whatever, but
yeah.
So Christian parenting skills.
I can't give this charger a score just yet, but as far as looks go, I would give it the looks alone. I would give it a 10 because I think it looks really slick and it's small enough. I mean, it's much smaller than even what are they don't call the what are the other controllers for the PS4 called? Those are called what are those controllers called, Eric? For the PS4.
The DualShock.
DualShocks. They're like the DualShock chargers are all much bigger than this thing. This thing is like really, really neat. So looks 10, functionality is going to be a 10. The only thing that I would say is not going to be a 10 is the fact that it has like a little transformer to plug in. So that's a little unwieldy and bigger than what I would like. I would like just a straight connection into your outlet, but it's slick, and I'll let you know how it charges and what it looks like and how it lights up, if at all, when I get my controllers and stuff. But so far, I like the design, I like the way that it looks, and that's it. So there you go. Okay, let's move on to everybody's favorite segment.
What is it?
Stinko of the week.
Breakman, your Stinko of the week.
Well, I don't know if I really want to talk about that. So I'll just complain about the whole election and everything, and our president, who doesn't want to believe that he could lose, getting lawyers and everything else. Of course, he's going to fight it, like what we all knew, even though it doesn't make any damn sense at all. But nothing that he's done for the last 4 years has been. I mean, he's been able to get away with things that should have got him in prison. I mean, he was impeached, but it should have been removed from office. Like when Nixon was in office, for instance, like he resigned over the whole Watergate thing, the whole cover-up of Watergate. Trump has done Watergate times 20.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he doesn't have a moral compass.
No, he doesn't have shame.
Yeah,
he doesn't
or
give
shame.
A fuck.
Yeah, or humility, or common sense, or any of the above. That you're assuming you're talking about a human being and not a cretin, Breakman. So
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem the media has had too. Like, because the media, every time he says something about like, well, the president's saying that he is going to get his lawyers, and the president is saying this is a fraudulent election. Why don't you say Donald Trump is on stage lying again to the American people?
Okay,
Stop placating his ass.
This is super important. I'm glad you brought that. I'm going to chime in with you, Breakman, because one of my stinkos is mainstream media. I'm not talking just Fox News. I'm talking about CNN. I'm talking about MSNBC, CBS, NBC, all of the above, right? They're all mainstream media, and they are all complicit because they don't just come out and say that he's lying. I did hear like Jake Tapper say that his speech, what was it, yesterday, was full of lies and stuff like that. But the problem is you should have been doing this from day one. If you're a true news outlet, then you fight for facts, right? You don't let the lies keep coming. And also, they're complicit because they're not fucking calling these races, Breakman. The race in Nevada's fucking over. The race in Arizona's over. The race in Pennsylvania's over. They're all fucking over. Like, go ahead and say it. The next president's going to be Joe Biden. Project.
They're afraid of offending his audience.
Yes.
And him. They're afraid of him writing nasty tweets and calling their boss out.
What are they afraid
Murdoch
of?
Or whatever. They're afraid of getting fired, and they're afraid of losing ratings because of how many people are like falling for his shit. Well, part of the reason they're falling for his shit is because for the last 4 years you have reported him like he's a normal human being.
Right. That's exactly right. They're complicit. Let me get caught up in chat real quick. Freak5 says, do you remember when consoles came with 2 controllers? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I remember. Let's see. Wyland says, I can't wait for the next season of Illegitimate President. My stinko this week on Fridays are always donuts in the break room. When I get to work, I usually show up just in time to check my temperature, put my lunch in the microwave, and clock in. Or put my lunch in the fridge. Today I showed up early enough to eat a donut before I had to clock in, and there weren't any fucking donuts in the break room.
I want a donut.
Karma?
I haven't had a donut in so long.
Karma. Donuts are good, but they give me heartburn. Both of these clowns couldn't win an election legitimately. I agree with you 100%, Wyland. I'll talk about that in a minute.
The only reason Joe Biden got so many votes is because he's running against Trump. And that's the only reason there are so many people that turned out to vote is because of Trump.
Slagar says Arizona just said there's 250,000 votes to count. That's why they didn't call it. The problem is, Slagar, they're mostly in the Phoenix area, which leans heavily Democratic. It's not conjecture to say that it's gonna go Biden's way. I mean, it's just the way that it always is. You can take those numbers, and even if you wanted to be kind to Trump and give him a few thousand extra, it's not going to matter at all. It's not going to matter.
I was reading online, and then I thought about it. At first, I was like, no, and then I was like, you know what? It is true. If it was reversed, they would have already declared Trump winner.
Yes. Yes.
It would have, and Joe Biden would already be conceding.
Yes, he would be calling Trump right now, saying, graciously or ungraciously, because Joe Biden can't speak himself. He's a fucking walking zombie. But like he would have done the right thing, right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. And now we got this orange Cheeto liar loser that is not going to concede no matter what. He could be, and part of this is MSM's fault, mainstream media. Like I said, CNN, all of you are fucking complicit, man. Pennsylvania should have been called. Arizona was called, then all of a sudden it wasn't called. Nevada definitely should be called because all that's left is Las Vegas. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's see, Pennsylvania. The only thing that's left to be tabulated is Philadelphia. And if ever there was a Democratic-leaning city, it's fucking Philadelphia. Let's see, what else? North Carolina, I can see because if you want to, run up the score in North Carolina, big fucking deal. I mean, that almost always goes Republican. I can't remember. I think the last time North Carolina went Democratic was Clinton. Let's see, what else? What else? Oh, Georgia. Georgia should be fucking called. That 99%. The only votes are coming in from Atlanta, and Atlanta is hugely Democratic. It's one of the few places in Georgia that's hugely Democratic. It's fucking crazy. Slagar says don't matter because that will be fuel for. That's exactly right, Slagar. He says because that will be fuel for Trump to drag it out. Exactly. Freak 5 says if the election is illegitimate, it is the fault of this administration. Trump was worried about the last election having problems. He had 4 years to try and prevent fraud. There's no fraud, though. That's the problem. There's no fraud. Zero
He's
fraud.
trying to cause the fraud. Like when he tells his voters to go out and vote twice and stuff like that, he's trying to cause confusion and election
Yes.
fraud and stuff like that. So he has that as an excuse.
Yeah.
You know,
Weiland
that's
said,
part of his insanity. Is
yeah.
he creates the chaos that he
Yeah, I agree.
you know.
I totally agree. Wyland says Battlestar Galactica literally had an episode that was this election. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more, Breakman. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because that was my stinko. My first line on my stinko was mainstream media and their complicitness in this whole thing. You know, they should have. I mean, they don't have the balls. I don't know what they're fucking waiting for. Just more chaos is all they're gonna cause. You know, they're just dumb.
Yeah, and like you said, it's fueling him and his base. Like the longer they go, where even though they're like, well, he's still got a chance. Like Trump still has that slight narrow chance. Like the longer they do this, like the worse it's making the long term for everybody else because his supporters already have gone. I mean, they're out in full force, like saying like this election is being stolen, you know, and they're marching on the polls, on poll workers, counting votes, telling them like they're marching on. Oh my God, you're marching on your fellow citizens, you fucking insane assholes.
Yeah, and these people are counting both Biden votes and Trump votes, and you're
Yes.
fucking. I mean, they have nothing. All they're doing is counting. You can have people.
And look,
yeah.
And look how stupid some of these people were because they're like, stop the vote, like stop voting, stop. That's not what was happening. People are counting the votes. There's nobody voting anymore. They're counting the ones that were already voted.
I know
Jackasses.
you know, it's funny because there were Trump supporters saying, "Stop the vote! Stop the vote! You know, stop the count! Stop the count!" Which, you know, Count Dracula, Count the Count from Sesame Street. Which count? Okay, we get it. But then on the other side of the country, keep counting, keep like, which is it? What do you guys want? Like, do you want the votes to be counted or do you not want the vote? I think you should all want the votes to be counted, right? I mean, that's what being an American and a democracy means is you count every fucking vote, right?
Trump supporters don't want that. They have convinced themselves. Count Chocula. Yeah, you left him. out, you son of a
Dungeons
bitch.
in chat. Welcome, Dungeon. I didn't even see you sneak in there. He says, "What about
And
Count
Chocula,
Chocula?"
too.
Yeah, Count Chocula. Exactly. Stop.
Count
Count
Duckula
Duckula.
isn't good. I mean,
Oh,
well,
Count
I mean,
Duckula. Yeah, Count Duckula. We forgot Count
Count
Duckula.
Chocula's not that actually good either. I mean, I like the marshmallows, but the
Oh,
cereal's
I
cute.
love Chocula, man. Count Chocula is so good when it comes out. I can't eat a lot of sugar, so I keep those, cereals out of my diet, but damn. Yeah. Count Duckula, Dungeon says, yeah. I couldn't agree with you more, Break, man. Like you said it better than I could ever say it, but I think it's funny that mainstream media is not willing to fucking, because they're, like you said, they're afraid of a fucking orange bloated Cheeto that's going to be dragged out of his fucking office, which leads me to another point. What happens January 21st? Are we going to see an actual cuffing of the president out of the White House, Breakman?
Well, I would like to say yes, but we're going to see some actual insanity in the next few months. Like, for one thing, the president's going to pardon himself. That is actually going to happen.
Oh
I'm
my
going to
god.
almost guarantee it, that he will pardon
I
himself.
don't think you can legally do that,
I
Breakman.
don't think you can
No,
either,
yeah,
but
you can't. But
nobody's held him to legal stand.
he's gonna say shit on TV somewhere.
Okay, he might say it, but I think the one person that the president cannot, I mean, the vice president can. The vice president, like, if he were to step down, like, a day before the 21st, like, the vice president can pardon him and then he would be good to go. But is Pence
See that
going to
happening
actually,
too.
is Pence going to risk his political future by doing that? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I think so, because the right has just become more for Trump, not less. Like, we've seen the voters.
You know what would be
They were
funny?
out in force for him, and even though like some of the Republican senators and representatives have been saying like it's dangerous what he's saying, at the same time we've gotten QAnon people elected into Congress now. Like
Yeah.
it's just complete insanity. Like
You know what's funny, Breakman? I thought of this scenario actually. Like a week before, let's say Trump goes to Pence and say, "I'm going to step down, but I need you to pardon me." What would happen in a scenario where it would be really funny if Pence was like, "I'm going to enjoy a week of being president, and I'm not going to pardon you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have you escorted off the White House lawn." Wouldn't that be like totally like
after
like
after he told him he would. Too.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm totally in it. I'm totally in it.
And then
Mr.
he doesn't
President.
do
Let's
it.
this.
Like
Well, actually, I had another thought.
I think that would make Pence a total badass. Not that I would ever support that guy. I think he's a wimpy piece of shit. But I think that right there would like gain a little respect on my part, man. Like like that would be like so awesome. Let me get caught up on chat here. Freak5 says a little background on this comment. One guy on Facebook who unfriended me in the middle of a discussion because he disagreed with me. I later saw a Facebook memory where this guy said he doesn't unfriend people just because he disagrees with them. That sounds about right. Dungeon says, "What about?" Okay, I got that one already. This week he commented on a mutual friends post saying, "Of all of a sudden mail-in votes show up in the middle of the night. Is the USPS that incompetent? The mutual friend is a mail carrier. The friend says Trump told his supporters not to vote by mail, so most of the mail-in votes would be for Biden." This guy then asks, "So no Trump supporters votes by mail? You dumbass." He didn't say. He didn't say that, I think is what he meant to say. Yeah, I agree. Dungeon says that sounds like a Mass Effect decision. Pardon self plus 5 renegade points. Freak5 says to benefit from a pardon, you have to acknowledge your guilt. And I could be wrong, but you might actually have to be tried and found guilty first. No, Freak5. Like the president, if the president wanted to, he could pardon anybody except himself. The one person he cannot pardon is himself. He can pardon people for potential future crimes. Like if he wanted to pardon Bill Barr for potential future, he could do it, and he would be in the right. And then later, if Bill Barr murdered somebody and went to trial and got convicted, he would be pardoned immediately because the president said so. That's I know it's weird, but that's how it goes down, man. But all right, Breakman, I didn't mean to break up your stinkos, but any more stinkos from you, Break?
I forgot what we were talking. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, just everything. Like this insanity that we're going to be going through, because Trump is saying now, he's going to take it to the Supreme Court and stuff. Like, he has no legality to do the stuff he's talking about doing. But the problem is, like, we've seen the last 4 years, he's had no legality to do a lot of shit he's done, but he's still gotten away with it.
The only
And
thing
that's
is,
what I'm worried about.
the only difference this time around, Breakman, is the writing's on the wall for everybody, including the Supreme Court. Like, there's no benefit for anybody in the whole situation but Trump. You know what I'm saying? So there's no, like, the Supreme Court is, I mean, first of all, I looked at the legal challenges, Breakman, and all of the legal challenges are just like frivolous little stupid things, right?
I agree. Like, everything he's doing, like, it should be, like, shut down immediately. Like, no, this is wrong. Like, no, you've lost, dude. This isn't going to work. You're wrong here. You're lying here. This isn't the truth. Shit like that. But last 4 years as the president, he's fucking done shit that's just completely insane. You know?
Yeah. Freak Pie says something that is true as well, and let me get to this. He says, and that pardon is just for federal crimes. So if he acknowledges guilt to accept a pardon, any states that could file charges against him could. That's right. The states.
Ooh.
Yep. So if he thinks he's going to get away
That's
with
good.
it, like he could have Pence pardon him, do like a like a Nixon-esque type thing where Johnson pardoned Nixon and then Nixon resigned, and that how that happened. The same thing could happen here, but that doesn't mean, like, right now New York has got like I think 4 or 5 legit cases against Trump right now.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be more because he's a fucking shyster and he always has been. But
if everything starts falling down around him, where he sees that like he can't win and that everything's going to go bad, I think he's going to run.
I
Just
thought
leave
that
the
same
country.
thing. I thought that same thing,
Because
Breakman.
he even said it on Twitter, and
He
well,
said it
I
in
know
a
he
rally.
says everything on Twitter, but he says he
He
has
said
a
it.
habit of admitting his crimes on Twitter too. So
Yeah, he said if he loses this election at a rally, that he'll leave the country. Which I was like, oh please. I mean, by all means. That I hear Russia is wide open for you. Philippines, another option for you. I hear North Korea is nice this time of year. Feel free. I mean, feel free. Like, there's plenty of places for you. They'll accept you with welcoming arms.
Yep.
And you'll make a good living too because they'll use you, and that's exactly what they'll do. They'll use you against the United States. You fucking
Yep.
moron. So
Yep,
feel
and his
free.
base will suddenly support Russia. Wait a minute, not suddenly, just because
Yeah.
they have been.
I don't buy into the
They
whole.
have been unknowingly supporting Russia for a while now.
Yeah, I don't buy into the Russiagate stuff.
But
that
we know from the Mueller reports that his people did in fact work with Russia and stuff like that. But when I say like they've been working for Russia and they don't know, it's because Russia, has been doing everything they can to get him reelected. It's just
Yeah, although there's
I'm not saying that was a direct influence on them. I'm just
yeah,
saying
there's
they're,
no
I shouldn't say they're working. I should say that they're on the same side as Russia.
yeah, it's sketchy at best, man. Otherwise the Mueller report would have blown the door off of a lot of shit.
But it
Brickman.
did. And, there was plenty of evidence in there for him to go to prison.
Well,
But they
Deba-
didn't prosecute it on. The fucking Mueller didn't prosecute it because he said he didn't have the authority, and Senate didn't want to touch it.
yeah, I looked at that report, Breakman. Like it was. I don't want to say it was a nothing burger, but as far as Trump goes, like there was no hard
No,
proof.
I'm not saying like him directly being involved because he's not completely an idiot. He knows to get
Yeah.
surrogates,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But his people were directly involved working with Russian
yeah,
influencers,
yeah,
including Don Jr.
yeah. Well, Don Jr. is a whole different story, man. Freak Five says, I've had some thoughts this week. Really? I didn't know you could think, Freak Five. The asshole who shot the protesters in Wisconsin probably would have been a school shooter if it wasn't for COVID. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting, Freak Five. I have to think about that a little more. I don't want to comment and just speak off the cuff like
It's a
without.
complete sad story. Some of your lives ruined, including the kids, because he's been indoctrinated his whole life. He's never had a chance to think for himself, really.
Yeah.
But
this
more
is-
than anything, the lives of the people he killed and
Yeah.
those family, they deserve sympathy more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying, it's sad that there are kids like that out there. They'll never have a life because they've been brainwashed their entire lives. And
Yeah.
they'll go out and do something stupid like this.
Yeah. All right, Breakman. Any other stinkos?
No, I'm not going to talk about other stuff. That's fine.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Eric, your stinkos of the week.
Okay, my stinkos are a few. I have to do even more overtime for the next few weeks, including Saturdays, because from what I heard, a lot of machines are down, so that means work gets backed up, and they can't get the parts they need because U.S. doesn't produce its own materials and it imports everything because our country is so great.
Yeah,
so
you
we
know.
can't get the parts we need soon, and then that makes us slow down even further. And this is probably a product of management, and they'll probably never get punished for it. And that's what makes me really angry, because they're still accepting more orders while all this is going on, and that's why we're as backed up as we are.
Yeah.
So we're basically doing crunch.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. I feel sorry for you,
And
man.
I have to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I have to be there by 5. Sorry.
Yuck.
And
Oh shit.
5 to 11 though, but it's only 6 hours. But still, it's like early.
Yeah, I mean that really blows, man. That like eats into your weekend, and they. Company...
I feel like I don't have any life anymore.
Yeah, I know, man. Hang in there is the best
Well,
I
you
can
can't
say.
because you're going in so damn early. You're exhausted by the time you get off. Like it's.
I'm too tired to want to do anything.
Yeah.
I can't make appointments for like my eye. Like I need to get my new glasses. I can't do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've wanted to get my flu shot, so I guess I'm just gonna have to do it after work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because trying to get a flu shot like in the middle of the day is just hard because it's busy then.
Yeah, I've had a hell of a time getting my flu shot. I might skip it this year, even though I don't want to. But fuck, man. Like...
Hey, at least if you're not going outside because of COVID, you might not be able to get a flu so easily.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The only time I go out is like to go get groceries, man. I'm in here most of the time, so it's just.
I got my flu shot.
I already
Yeah,
told
I
my
know.
parents I'm not doing Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea, Eric. I mean, maybe go and wear a mask and go grab a plate or something. But
No, they're gonna give me like this weird dinner combo platter thing that from Schwann's
Oh,
does
okay.
a bunch of food stuff.
Okay, I mean that's.
And I'm probably gonna buy like rolls and shit
Yeah,
to cover everything that doesn't cover.
that's fair. That's fair. All right, what else you got, Eric?
But my PS5 might be late because my payment failed at midnight, and apparently I think I know why it failed. Because I think they tried processing my order on Tuesday, but the mail's correspondence is so slow that I didn't get the email to it until this morning. So I had to fix that, and it went through. I used my PayPal key, which is basically just it's a credit card, digital credit card that runs through your PayPal account, which is different from the actual PayPal cash card I have. But so that got accepted. So, but since I feel like I might have got the email late, I'm wondering if my console will be late now. I mean, maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's fine, and I'll just get the confirmation email later.
Yeah. I'm gonna get mine about a week later, Eric. I mean, don't feel too bad. Slagar says, "I see your Schwann's is smaller." Yeah, he said Schwann's.
My other stinko is Ohio, and it's like, God damn it, Ohio, we could have been at least a purple state, but you had to vote for Trump again, you motherfuckers.
Well,
oh my God, I think we went heavier for Trump this time.
Yeah, a lot of places did, and that's something I want to bring back up in a minute. But I'll wait for Eric to get his.
It basically the cities were like dark blue, but the rest of the damn state was just blood red. And
well, I'm gonna talk about that in a second here. Break. Hang on for just a second. All right, Eric, what else you got?
But I've also got some sad news because Banjo Ginja, who was the Japanese voice actor for Liquid Snake for Metal Gear Solid, and I think Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes Japanese releases, the initial Japanese releases, because I think Integral had the English voice cast in it. But anyways, they died of COVID, and I just think it's really creepy because the voice actor for Liquid Snake, a character who dies from foxdie, a virus, dies of a real world virus.
Yeah, I mean, COVID-19, man, it's a serious fucking thing. That's whatever. All right, anything else, Eric?
Anyways, oh wait, he didn't die. I thought he died. I guess there was an update, but or I just read that wrong when I saw the initial thing. But
conflicting reports.
What'd you say?
Conflicting reports.
Yeah. No, I was just jumping the gun. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm tired, as you can tell. But
I can definitely tell, Eric. Anything else?
But
Eric?
anyways, his roles were Garen Zabi in Mobile Suit Gundam. This is one of his prominent roles, and of course, I already mentioned Liquid Snake. But he also did Bayman in the Dead or Alive series and Axe Hand Morgan in One Piece.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. $50 corn dogs.
Holy shit! Fuck that. I remembered a Stinko. I don't know what your Stinkos are, so you might have it in your list. I can't get into it. But
go ahead. Break.
Well, we forgot a death, a pretty huge death this week. Legendary actor Sean Connery died.
Ooh, I forgot.
Fuck him.
I agree with Eric on this. Breakman. I know there was a lot of love and support for Sean Connery, but Sean Connery is the one that said. I don't know the exact quote, but he said something very similar to what I'm going to tell you guys. He said, women, you could just slap them around, and that's their role, basically, that. So I'm kind of with Eric on it. Like, he's shown a propensity to be kind of a misogynistic piece of shit, but it doesn't take away from his acting role. It's sort of like how I feel about, like, Lawrence Taylor's, like, on-field career. He was brilliant on the field. Off the field, he's a piece of shit. Same thing with O.J. Simpson.
Actually leads me to somebody else, too.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Another Stinko goes to, we're talking about somebody that I enjoy watching on the screen, but in real life, we know for a fact now Johnny Depp is a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'd see...
Wife-beating piece of shit.
Well... Now, there was conflicting reports on that. Some people say that Amber Heard was the actual piece of shit.
That's what was originally going around. I mean, and he was the one who really started those rumors. But now in court,
they could have both been pieces of shit.
Oh, okay.
Like it wasn't.
No, and no, that's not the case though. In court, he basically signed off on that he's the wife beater.
Oof. Okay. Well, fuck him too. But
yeah, it wasn't a two-way street. It was a one-way street.
Ugh, that's no good. No bueno. Okay, let me get to mine real quick.
I mean, maybe she fought back after the fact, but he started it.
Okay. All right. Well, see, because I could never get clarification on that, because at first I heard it was her making accusations, and then it came out that she was actually the one that was abusive, and then now I hear that it's Johnny Depp that was the piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should go back and investigate this all, because there have been a lot of conflicts.
Yeah, to me it's unclear still, Break. So let me research that, and I'll get back with you, man.
Okay, but the article that I saw was basically he admitted in court that he is the one.
Okay. If that's the case, then I'll go with what you say and fuck Johnny Depp, because I actually met Johnny Depp one time. So, all right. I'm gonna go. I met a lot of.
It's a shame because he's awesome to watch. I like him.
I do like a lot of his movies, no question. All right, already talked about MSM and the Trump shit with his comments about, rigged elections and all that shit, even though it's super dangerous. But I want to bring up a point here about Joe Biden, right? The only reason that I could discern that you voted for Joe Biden, Breakman, being a conservative, right? I mean, you lean conservative, fiscally conservative, is the fact that he's not Trump, right?
Because I hate Trump.
Okay.
Not just the fact that he's not Trump. I hate Trump. And I don't like Biden. Don't get me wrong. Like, I hate Biden too, because we know he's a misogynistic pig, as you said.
Okay.
And
but can you name me one platform item that he ran on, Joe Biden, other than he's not Trump?
I'm not Trump.
Yeah.
No,
other than he's not Trump. Okay. So this is why picking Joe Biden, I feel, may in the long run be super, super dangerous for this country. Okay.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all.
No, I know, and I know there's not going to be much disagreement about what I say, but I truly believe that Joe Biden's going to be the gateway to somebody even worse than Trump, because the Senate is not going to.
It's always been.
The Democrats really fucked up this time. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. They put forth a candidate that, I don't care what the final numbers say, Biden barely beat Trump. barely. And in some cases, like in the case of Ohio, you guys brought it up, went even further towards a person like Trump. So what makes anybody in their right mind believe that the next time around, whether it's 2024 or 2028, that we're not going to get somebody worse than Trump?
We might get Trump again in 2024.
I doubt it. I
I
doubt
can
it.
heavily see them Trump. No, no, not him. Junior.
Oh, Trump
Or
Jr.
Ivanka in 20.
Okay.
I don't think he can rerun.
He can.
Because
He can. He can rerun.
he can rerun?
Yes.
Okay, but I don't think it will be him. I think it'll be Don
As
Jr.
long as you don't do consecutive
Warriors.
terms, you
Yeah.
can rerun.
Yeah. Let me read chat here, and then I'll get back into
Now,
my
most
point.
most presidents that have done second terms haven't done like a non-reoccurring second term.
Yeah.
They usually quit after they lose.
Let me read chat here. Slagar says not taxing middle, taxing the rich. He will die, and Kamala will be prez. He may in the future post nude Kamala pics. Okay, it's gonna be worse. In the long term, like yes, we get rid of Trump, but this is the point that I was trying to make all along when we were going through the Democrats' primaries, right? The choice was fucking clear from the beginning, and people really saw it. There was a movement going with Bernie, okay? Whether it was with Bernie or someone else, it wouldn't matter. The platform was the thing, right? People were getting behind the platform. I think it's very clear that the platform that Bernie ran on would have fucking demolished Trump in this election. It would not have even... It would have been something like 400 to 100 or however it broke down. Like it would not... People in this country could have got behind that. It's been proven, and I'll tell you why. There were things in his platform, like, for instance, marijuana legalization, right? Okay, everybody knows South Dakota and Montana are some of the most conservative states in the union, right? They always go Republican. No matter if you're in the city or in the suburbs or in the rural areas, those states are fucking conservative, hands down, right? They both legalized marijuana, all right? It's popular. Things like Medicare for All has about a 72% popularity rating clear across the nation, right? Whether or not you are for or pro Medicare for All, it's fucking popular. It's been proven over and over. Some polls have it up at 90% popularity. All right? I'm not talking about Bernie Sanders, the person. I'm talking about the platform. These things are insanely popular. And if you run on those things, you will win. You will crush anybody you go up against. Bernie would have fucking... It wouldn't have been close. We wouldn't be talking right now about a disputed election.
And the Democratic Party did have a platform. They didn't run on it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Dungeon says... incumbents almost never lose unless it's something catastrophic, regardless of party. Last time this happened was when Bush Sr. was president. And yes, exactly. Freak 5 says, if the younger generation continues to be as active as they were this year, I think things will be better. That's not true, Freak 5. Just look at the numbers, dude. Ohio's a prime example. Iowa's another example.
There are a lot of stupid young people.
Yeah, the people that are who've considered themselves marginalized in like the smaller communities, the rural areas, like they have all banded together.
Yeah.
On this.
Let's see.
They're all in it to win it for Trump.
If you can't see that shit changed because of this asset, then you are ignoring everything around you. Slagar, actually, the reason that Biden won this was COVID-19. If we didn't have COVID-19 to destroy Trump's presidency at the end and the way that he acted, Trump would still be our president in 2021. All right?
It's true because not enough people would have been motivated to go out and vote against him, whereas he was still motivated. His people were definitely motivated.
Yep.
To. I mean, his people are. It is a cult. Like they love him.
Yes, it's weird. And look, I said this from the beginning. I've never been a Trump fan even before he ran. We've detailed how he wanted to murder 5 fucking people for being innocent. the Central Park Five, which sounds like they're a gang, which they were not. They're real people that spent about 12 years in fucking prison for being innocent, and it wasn't right. And he still, to this day, thinks that those innocent people should be murdered, should be electrocuted or executed. For what? For being black, basically. Weiland says the most important election of our lifetime, they said. BS. Not until there are viable third, fourth, fifth, etc. candidates. Like,
Yeah, like one of the things I think we need to do in the next 3 years is to form an actual People's Party and then spend the next year campaigning for that.
The only way that happens, Eric, is if the People's Party joins forces with the Green Party and joins parties with the Democratic Socialist wing, and all these people get together to actually, form some sort. Because
And
the
there's no way in
Democrats,
hell that's happening.
you know what the Democrats are? They're Republican light. They'll run on a platform of political correctness, and
Basically, right now they're the non-racist Republicans.
oh, they're racist. Don't
slightly
make no
less
mistake.
racist.
They're racist.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. They're slightly they're not as blatantly racist as the Republicans.
Right. That's right. That's right. Because if you look at Joe Biden's history, he has a history of being a racist piece of fucking shit. The only reason that he got to
Come
be
all through trans people in jail.
the only reason why he was Obama's vice president pick is to appease the fucking Republicans. Watch his cabinet very closely, and they're going to use the excuse that Mitch McConnell threatened all kinds of shit and they wouldn't confirm this guy or that guy or the other. Let them fucking do it. Pick some progressives. Pick Bernie Sanders for one of your cabinet positions and see what fucking happens. All right? If they actually fucking go through with it and they block his nominee, well then we can blame the Republicans. But if you don't pick people like that, Joe Biden, guess who we're going to blame? You are to blame, Joe Biden, for picking people that protect Wall Street and corporations and all the rest of them. So let's see. Dungeon says, I wonder how many votes went to Kanye. Yeah, Kanye's the one that caused Trump to lose. I think in Colorado, I think that was like 1,000 people or something. She voted for herself and her island party. Yeah. Okay. I think over 2,000 in Iowa votes for Kanye. Yeah, there were a few. Fuck Bernie. Slagar says. You can say that all you want. It's
what
not
was his platform, like the legalization of pot.
Who,
That
Bernie's?
was the only thing I heard.
Bernie's?
No,
No,
Kanye.
no, no. I think Slater's saying fuck Bernie because there was that point where he basically just sucked Nancy Pelosi's
Yes.
whatever,
And I've talked about that.
and he basically just pulled it off his mask and showed that he was a grifter, and he has had a 40-year grifting strategy
No,
of campaigning.
I don't think he's a grifter. I think the problem with Bernie is he's too weak. Like there has to be a strong progressive candidate that stands up and fucking fights and doesn't cave in to the fucking establishment Democrats, man. The establishment Democrats are worse for this country than any Republican ever could be. Read one of the states. Yeah, that was Oregon. They made all drugs legal to
I thought
possess.
they decriminalized them, which is different from making them legal.
Yeah, decriminalized, which means you can possess them, but you can't sell. Like that's how that was. Come a
Very
long
wrong.
way from Reefer Madness. I can't remember if it was MSNBC or CNN, but one of them had a graphic showing percentages, one for Trump, one for Biden, one for peoples who didn't want either candidate. So blatant to make people think third parties don't exist. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. That's
I
MSM.
voted for Hawkins, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the third parties can get on the ballots in some states, but not in all states. But on the ballot, what chance do they have when the other two parties have all their money and all the power?
Yeah.
To just
Yeah.
They get all the views. Like how many
I mean,
commercials did you
Yeah.
see
I
for
watched-
the Green Party, for instance?
Yep, none.
I watched plenty of YouTube videos, and I didn't see any Green Party advertisements.
I agree. They don't have the infrastructure to compete, man, and it was very blatantly obvious. They lost a lot of votes this time around. The Green Party did. The Green Party's got to do a fucking soul searching, and they gotta get together with all these, like the People's Party movement. the Democratic Socialist Movement. They got to get all these people together to make a
I
difference.
just don't see them working together, like all of them.
Yeah,
Just, they
I
they
mean,
should, if they want to like be viable. Like they really do need to get together and say, hey, we should be our different party should have a chance too. But like I don't know, just the way people are anymore, it just seems impossible for people.
We kind of need to
different
move
parties
on to
work
the free
together.
for all.
yeah, we need
Yeah, we
rank.
need to get the Sweetos, don't we?
Yeah, hold on. We do need ranked choice voting too. That's something that could help a lot in that regard. But that's topics for a different day. We do need to move on real quickly to Sweetos. I'm gonna do mine real quick. January 21st is gonna be a fairly good day. Even though I bitched about Biden presidency or whatever. So there you go. I don't see one for you, Eric. Break, do you have a quick Sweeto?
I actually forgot it.
Okay.
Shit, right.
Then I think we need to move on to this. Okay, guys, we got a new tournament this week, as suggested. The Twitter poll ran for almost a week, and it came out that we are going to do the top horror TV show of all time, which is a really hard list for me to put together. If yours did not make the list, I apologize, but I had a dandy of a time. I have 64, and so hopefully some of the ones that you like made the list. I know Tony. Toy Box Tony sent us in some, and I think all of his made the list actually because of circumstance and because I took it into account. Freak 5, I thought about your top 64 sides for Thanksgiving. I would have done it because this is Thanksgiving month, but keeping in with movies and games type thing, I think this is a little more appropriate. But we will have a discussion about that at some point, Freak 5. So I didn't forget about that. Wasn't expecting Constantine to make it, but yes, it's in there. This is only the first bracket, so we got to get into it because we got to run through these things fairly quickly. So I will admit that all of us have not seen every single one of these shows, so we'll do our best to get through them. We might have to pick some on name alone. Eric wanted Erie, Indiana in there, so I put that in there, even though it's not, I guess, technically a horror show.
It's a children's horror show. It's a horror show.
I guess. So it's in there. I listened to Breakman on his suggestions. So we've got a very eclectic group of TV shows here. Let's run through them, guys. We're going to go through this real quick because
I guess I should have mentioned Are You Afraid of the Dark instead.
Yeah, well, it is what it is right now.
Well, there were I think we talked about this before, like that there were some kids horror shows, but I didn't think we should use those. Just
I did not include things like Goosebumps and stuff like that, but I did have a couple of controversial ones. Like I think one of them was Addams Family, but I only put that in because they have all the characters, right? They have like creepy. It's not a horror show, but it could almost be considered that just because of the content. But okay, let's get started. Freak 5 said this was the last week of drawings. He won a $100 gift card to Wahlburger, and his employee discount gets him 20% off. So that's cool. Pizza earlier, Wyland said I should have voted for the Hamburglar Party. Right?
I still
Dungeon.
say donut party.
No.
Wyland actually points out that the hamburger party, that's Trump's party.
No, that would be the hamburger.
Because he's a fat thief,
No, it would be the hamburger. Remember? Hamburger. Yeah, no, hamburger. That's how he texted one time. Okay, let's start here. I'm going to start at the top and go all the way down the bottom. We're going to have to do this in rapid succession, otherwise we'll be here all day. Z Nation, which is the farcical zombie, basically making fun of Walking Dead, versus American Horror Story, which is different every season. It's got witches and demons and all kinds of different stuff. Start with you, Eric. What say you?
I'd rather go with American Horror Story.
Okay, you, Breakman?
I've never seen Z Nation. I've heard some good things about it. However, American Horror Story, there have been some seasons where I'm like, oh, this is stupid shit. But there have been times, like the last season, for instance, I thought was really good. and they always seemingly have a good cast of actors in there that they rotate and have different roles playing. Yeah, American Horror Story.
I'm going with American Horror Story as well, even though I love Z Nation. I think it's just a rollicking good time. It deserved better. Z Nation deserved better. Okay, next matchup here, we got The Mist, which ran for, I believe, 1 season, and Castlevania, which is on to season 4. I'm going to go first on this one. No brainer for me. Castlevania is far superior show to The Mist. The Mist was, in my opinion, super awful. What about you, Breakman?
I've never seen The Mist, but I was going to pick Castlevania anyway.
Eric?
Castlevania.
All right, easy peasy. On to the next one, Wolf Creek, which I don't know if you remember the movies, but it also has a TV series on Shudder. Completely different than the movies. The movies were really scary.
Wolf Creek.
How dare you? How dare you? Versus Constantine, a series that was, I can't remember how many seasons Constantine had.
1 season.
1 season. Okay, so Wolf Creek has 2 seasons. Constantine had 1. I'm going to start with you, Eric.
I like the Constantine movies, so I'm just going to go with Constantine.
Okay, I'll go next. I think Wolf Creek is a great series. I wished it could have went on, but there were some sexual abuse allegations for the lead actor. But that aside, I have to take art for what it is. I'm going with Wolf Creek, so that means Breakman, you are the decider here.
I've never seen Wolf Creek, but Constantine's a good show. Dude who plays Constantine is still playing the character. He's now on Legends of Tomorrow. So.
Okay, so Constantine moves on. You guys are both wrong, but okay. Next is an interesting matchup. Salem, which I saw a few episodes about witches, obviously, and some intrigue and stuff like that, versus Erie, Indiana, which is very family friendly. I'm gonna go first on this. I'm taking the witches because I think Salem is a pretty scary take on witches. Erie, as Break has said, is not super horrific. I agree. I'm picking Salem. What say you, Eric?
Even though I nominated it, I didn't know what it would be on here. I'm going with Salem because I don't know that much horror TV shows. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a slog getting through most of these, but we'll get to the gist at the end. Breakman, what say you?
I don't really think it was a horror show. I'm actually really surprised it was on here, but I loved Erie, Indiana.
Okay.
I love that show.
Not that it matters as Salem moves
no,
on.
it's done. It was murdered by witches.
Yes. Okay, on to the next. The Originals.
Thank you, Paperboy. You've been murdered.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Originals, which is, it's a horror show in the fact that, it's kind of people coming back type thing. Slagar says, Twin Peaks, why is that horror? Murder and all,
We haven't got that far yet.
I know. Relax, Slagar.
Stop spoiling the show, man.
I know.
Stop spoiling the show.
Okay. Here we go. The Originals versus a show I saw on Shudder actually called Lore. It's it's not a Japanese animated, but it's an animated kind of creepy creep show, if you can imagine that. The Originals.
All animation is anime anyway, so
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, Originals versus Lore. I'll go first on this. I think The Originals is actually a pretty good show, but I'm going with Lore for more of the horror factor. It's an anthology kind of animated. I think it's actually really, really scary. So I'm going with Lore. What say you, Breakman?
Let me see. I've never seen either one of these shows, so I'm just gonna go with your recommendation, Lore.
Okay, Eric.
Just a quick question. Do you consider Aeon Flux or The Max as horror?
No, I consider Aeon Flux more sci-fi, and I consider The Mask more fantasy.
No, not The Mask. The Max.
Oh, The Max is more fantasy.
That's a good show.
Yeah, I like The Max. You know what? I should have put Spawn in here. Oh well, Spawn didn't make the list. Sorry, guys. All right, next matchup: True Blood versus Charmed. So we got vampires versus witches here. Eric, I'll go with you. What do you pick?
I didn't actually pick the first choice. You skipped over me.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Original versus Lore.
I'm gonna go with lore.
Okay, that's a clean sweep. All right, True Blood versus Charmed, Eric.
I'm gonna say True Blood.
I'm gonna go with True Blood.
What say you, Breakman?
I've never seen the whole series of True Blood. I've only seen like bits and pieces of it. Whereas I've seen whole episodes of Charm, which is like a feel good kind of show mostly.
Yeah.
But the episode I saw of True Blood, I don't know who the guy was, but he ripped a guy's dick off. Then taunted him. Told him, I'm gonna come back and wait for you to bleed out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty damn funny, so I'm going True Blood.
Freak5 says, wasn't lore based off the podcast of the same name? I believe so, Freak5. I believe so. It's good.
So it was
it's
like
really
the
good.
podcast, just like an audio drama or something?
Yeah. It was a podcast. I didn't listen to the podcast, but I believe they're right. Slagar says, lore podcast. Yep, that's okay. He also says, just to throw it out there, I just found an X-Men audio drama. Ooh, that's cool. All right, I'm picking True Blood as well. Charmed sucks. It's more of like a cutesy teen angsty type thing.
It's a CW show.
Yeah, it's not my bag. Okay, the next one is there's a show I believe on Netflix called The Terror. I have not seen it. I heard it's pretty damn good. It's an anthology series. Versus another anthology series that's new on Shudder, Creepshow. I'm picking Creepshow. What say you, Breakman?
I'm gonna have to go with Creepshow too because I've never actually seen the other one.
Okay, Eric, what you picking?
First of all, I'm kicking myself for not suggesting Passions as a horror show.
Okay, what are you picking? Terror or Creepshow?
Creepshow.
Okay, Creepshow, clean sweep. Okay. Next, I've seen both of these ones, guys, thankfully. Fear the Walking Dead versus iZombie. I'm going to start with you, Eric.
iZombie just looked more interesting from what I saw in previews.
Okay. What say you, Breakman?
Well, I'll tell you, I've seen pieces of the episode. No, iZombie seems like more of a comedy than anything else. But Fear the Walking Dead is... If you would asked me, I'd say a month ago, I would have said it's the worst fucking show on television and picked the other one automatically.
Uh-huh.
But the thing with Fear the Walking Dead is they've had good seasons of the show. They've had some good episodes, and this season so far has actually started out really good.
Okay. I'm going to break the tie. I'm going to break the tie. I can't stand Fear the Walking Dead even worse than I can't stand it worse than even The Walking Dead. iZombie is a great show. It's an underrated show. I think everybody should watch that. So I'm picking iZombie to move on. Fuck Fear the Walking Dead. All right, let's move on to Stranger Things versus Hammer House of Horrors. I'll start with you, Breakman.
There's only one correct answer, and that's Stranger Things.
Not so fast, Breakman. Hammer House of Horrors, which is an awesome show about demons, haunted houses,
that's
ghosts.
Fine, but what's Stranger Things?
But that being said, Stranger Things is awesome. I'm picking Stranger Things. Is it a clean
I'm going
sweep?
with Stranger Things.
All
so
right,
it's a clean
Stranger
sweep.
Things moves on. Freak5 says, Eric, give iZombie
Where
a
can
try.
I
It's
watch
great.
iZombie?
Yeah, iZombie is a CW show. I think you can see it for free online, man. Like it's good.
It's
All right.
on Hulu or Netflix. It probably is on one of those. I'd imagine it's on Hulu.
It's on Netflix for sure. It's on Netflix. Yeah. All right. Next matchup: Teen Wolf versus Scream Queens. I'm gonna go first. Scream Queens was such a disappointment for me. The first 3 or 4 seasons of Teen Wolf is fantastic. I suggest you guys watch those first 4 seasons.
Is that really horror though?
Yeah, Teen Wolf. It's a werewolf, dude. There's all kinds of shit that goes on.
Then I remember the movie with Michael J. Fox.
No. It's completely different, man. It was an MTV series, and I think it's really good. The last couple of seasons, not so great, but just watch like the first 2 or 3, 4 seasons. It's really good. A lot of scary stuff in there about werewolves. Teen Wolf moves on for me. What say you, Eric?
I'm going with Teen Wolf then, I guess.
What about you, Breakman?
I've never seen either.
How dare you, Freak
I have yet to hear any good things about Scream Queens, and as you said, Michael J. Fox was the original Teen Wolf. So
The series has a much different tone. You guys would like it. It's actually pretty good. Freak 5 is exiled. That's all I'm gonna say.
as long as they don't have like who did they have in the sequel? Was it Justin Bateman?
There was a
Yes, it was awful. Okay, next matchup we got for you guys: Tales from the Dark Side versus the Stephen King short-lived 8-part series, Nightmares and Dreamscape. I'll go with you, Eric.
Wait,
sequel. I rather watch Tales from the Dark Side on name alone.
Dungeon is teetering on Exile too. What say you, Breakman?
Tales from the Dark Side versus what was that one?
Nightmares and Dreamscapes, the short-lived Stephen King adaptation, like 8 episodes.
I don't think I saw even one of them.
You never seen Tales from the Dark Side?
Oh, maybe. And
Oh
it's
my
not like
God.
the name is familiar, but I'm not thinking the show isn't coming to mind.
Oh my God! Hold on, let me play the theme for you. This might jog a memory. Tales from let me go YouTube first. That would help. YouTube, and I'll just play the theme, and maybe it'll jog some memories. I mean, obviously you guys know what I'm gonna pick. Tales from the Dark Side theme. I think that's how you did it. Let me play this and see if it might jog a memory. Hope I don't get a copyright strike. And apparently this is from season 1, which I think they're all the same. Dungeon says he remembers Tales from the Dark Side.
Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality.
Doesn't
I
ring-
do remember that opening. I do. Okay, yeah, I'm going with that one.
Okay, then it moves on, and it was good. Okay, next matchup, much to Slagar's chagrin, Twin Peaks versus Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'll start with you, Eric.
I'm going Buffy.
Okay, what say you, Breakman?
Oh, Twin Peaks is such a weird show.
Such a good show, just weird, like you said.
I never really saw all of it because it was on past my bedtime. But what parts of it I saw were all weird. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a great show until she graduated from high school, and then the show really went downhill. But the high school years were so fantastic that it has to be Buffy.
Yeah, I'm picking Buffy as well. I like Twin Peaks a lot, but I think Buffy fits more of the motif of horror. What say you? Did you already pick, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a clean sweep for Buffy. All right. Let's move on. Old school. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I don't know if you remember that, Breakman. Yep.
You have to play that theme. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it was a Hitchcock versus the thing that basically makes fun of Hitchcock.
No, it's Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, man. It was a big, you know.
I'm going with Hitchcock because it's Hitchcock.
I didn't even hear what the other one was. I just heard Hitchcock.
I hate that shit. You know, the fucking YouTube with how many.
It was the other one was Tales from.
I can only play so much of that.
Did you say the other one's Tales from the Crypt? Well, you have to play the Tales from the Crypt theme.
Oh, okay. Tales from the Crypt. Jesus, you guys are making me work here.
Yep.
Tales from the Crypt. All right, so Alfred Hitchcock Presents was a great show, but I don't know if it can beat this.
Oh. Audio.
That audio
Sorry,
is
it's
really
burping.
audio is really bad, but you guys get the gist. So what you picking,
Like
Break?
I was about to say Alfred Hitchcock, but Tales from the Crypt may be the best horror show ever.
Yeah, they're both really great, man.
I
I'm
know
having a tough
Tales from the
time.
Crypt is just absolutely legendary. I didn't enjoy the last season as much, but overall the show was so fantastic.
So good, but man, so was Alfred Hitchcock Presents, man. What say you, Eric?
Didn't have the Crypt
I already
Keeper.
picked Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay, so it's up to me. Oh God, I'm so torn because I love Alfred Hitchcock Presents, man. They had some great stories in there, very
Definitely.
Hitchcockian, for the lack of a better term. Well, I have to agree with you, Break, man. I'm going with Tales from the Crypt. I think it's one of the all-time greats. I can't.
I think Tales from the Crypt was more Hitchcockian than Hitchcock because it was always based on like some twist or something at the end,
Yeah.
like the guy who had himself buried and he was going to be rescued.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't count on the guy rescuing him to have a heart attack and die.
Yeah.
But it was also sleazier than
And
Hitchcock.
be buried with that guy.
What's wrong with sleazy, Eric? Dungeon says, roll the dice, Frank. I should have flipped a coin on that, to be honest with you, Dungeon, because I love Alfred Hitchcock Presents, man. I mean, I really do. Okay, here's a couple of modern TV shows. The Exorcist versus Lock and Key. Lock and Key being the Joe Hill adaptation. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. It's on Netflix. I like it. The Exorcist was a very surprising and excellently written horror TV show. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. I'm going to go first on this one. I'm going to go with The Exorcist because there's some twist in The Exorcist that you would never, ever see coming. What say you, Eric?
I'm less interested in Christian horror, so I'm going with Lock and Key.
Okay. What say you, Breakman?
I've seen neither, so I'm going to flip a coin. Heads, call it, Frank. Heads what?
Exorcist.
Okay. I dropped the coin.
Uh-oh. That's a
Okay,
fumble.
it's tails.
Oh, how dare you. Exorcist is excellent. It should have went
Sorry.
on. All right, Lock and Key moves on.
Sorry,
I don't like it.
Power in your hands, you chose the other one.
I did. Okay, Dungeon says, yeah, Hitchcock was really good too. It was like Twilight Zone episodes, but more grounded in reality. Freak 5 says Lock and Key. Lock and Key was pretty good, man, but not, in my opinion, The Exorcist was, man, they really hit it out of the park with The Exorcist TV series. I wish that series would have went on. Okay, a couple more in this bracket, then we got a whole other bracket to do. The Strain versus the Santa Clarita Diet. I'm going to go first on this one. I've seen both of these. The Strain is a vampiric based TV show that ran for, I believe, 3 or 4 seasons. I liked it okay. It's based on a graphic novel. Santa Clarita Diet is it's more comical, but it's about a zombie that comes back. Drew Barrymore, and she obviously has a thirst for flesh, and they have to kind of keep it secret. Very funny. At times horrific, a lot of good kills. I'm going to go with the Santa Clarita Diet. What about you, Eric?
I'm going with that one.
Okay, what about you, Break?
I like the Strain. I was gonna go with the Strain. I know it wasn't the greatest, but it was more of back to form kind of like let's make vampires scary again type thing.
Yep.
It's been
I need to get to bed soon, so we need to hurry up.
All right, Eric, we're trying, man. We're getting through it. All right. So I agree with you, Break. The Strain was pretty good too, but the Santa Clarita Diet, man, so good. Okay. Friday the 13th, the series, which had nothing to do with Jason, versus The Walking Dead. I'm going to go first on this one. You guys know my hatred for The Walking Dead, other than season 1 and 2, maybe 6. I think overall, it's just based on that alone, it's a better series than Friday the 13th, although there were some episodes of Friday the 13th I liked. I'm going with Walking Dead against my better judgment. What say you,
I'm
Breakman?
going with The Walking Dead, too.
All right.
Yeah, it is just a superior show.
Yeah. Wow, Friday the 13th series. I think I remember that one too. All right, let's move on to the next bracket. This is going to be a tough one. Twilight Zone versus Addams Family. I'm going to go first on this. I'm picking Twilight Zone. I think it's one of the all-time great horror shows. Addams Family is more of a comical all-time great show as well, but I don't know. I mean, I had to put something in there, so I put I picked Adam's Family just for something a little different. So I'm going with Twilight Zone. What say you, Breakman?
I cannot agree more.
Okay.
As we talked about greatest shows on here, and I said Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone is definitely another candidate for greatest shows ever.
Okay.
Twilight Zone.
All right, clean sweep for Twilight Zone. I think we're all in agreement. Twilight Zone's a great show. All right.
List.
What?
Are the Munsters on the list? I'm having an argument now.
Munsters are
No.
not on. I thought about putting Munsters on the list, but I didn't have room
They're
for them.
even less of a horror theme
Yeah,
show
that's
than
even
Adam's
less
Family.
of a-
I'm in trouble because we already eliminated the Munsters. So,
Oh, okay. Well, the Munsters wouldn't have probably moved on too far. I mean, I had a tough time with this one. My apologies if your favorite didn't get on here, but okay. Dark Shadows, one vampire, what was his name? Barnabas Collins,
You're right.
versus Salem's Lot. I know I had to put a couple of limited series on here, so that's one of them. So vampire versus vampire, Salem's Lot versus Dark Shadows. Breakman, go.
I didn't really see Salem's Lot, and by not really seeing, I mean I didn't see it. I'd only seen like a few episodes of Dark Shadows. I know that it wasn't really like a scary show, but this was like back in the 60s when this shit, it was a soap opera in horror form.
Yes.
And it was definitely unique, and for that reason, I'm gonna go with Dark Shadows.
I'm also going with Dark Shadows, Breakman, because it had its campiness, but it had its serious moments too. I really like Dark Shadows a lot. I think it's an underrated television show. Salem's Lot scary as hell too, but I'm picking Dark Shadows. What say you, Eric?
No, the Dark Shadows.
All right, clean sweep there. All
Did you
right,
ever play the board game?
don't remember. I know Dark Shadows is like cult classic.
The
Dungeon
board game was
says.
a lot of fun. I remember it vaguely, but I remember it being a lot of fun.
Okay, Angel. All right, the Buffy the Vampire spinoff versus the Bates Motel. I'm going with the Bates Motel. I think it's a fantastic take on the Psycho universe. It's very surprising. I did not like Angel all that much. It's more of the same to me. So that's what I'm going with. What say you, Eric?
I'm going with Bates Motel.
All right. What say you, Break?
Doesn't matter what I choose now, does it? I didn't really enjoy the Bates Motel, what I saw of it, but to me, Angel was really not. I wanted to like Angel more than I did.
Yeah. Same here, Breakman. I couldn't agree with you more. What are you
So
picking?
I guess it doesn't matter. I guess I'm gonna pick Angel just because of having some good characters on it that I liked. But
Okay.
you know,
All right. Like you said, doesn't matter. And don't feel bad, Breakman. I've had a couple go not my way too. So
no, it's like I said, I wasn't really fond of either one of those
Yep.
shows.
I really like Bates Motel, man. You should have stuck with it, man. It's really good. How can you beat a show with 12,000 episodes? Wyland says. He's talking about Dark Shadows. All right. Outer Limits versus Attack on Titan.
This is easy. Outer Limits.
Oh, Outer Limits right away out of the gate. I thought you would pick Attack on Titan, Eric.
Why would I've seen enough of the show to know where it's going to say, yes, the show has horror elements, but it's not really a horror show.
It's a horror show, man. Anytime a giant eats people, that's horrific,
yeah,
man.
you haven't seen the rest of the show.
I've seen the entire show,
Well,
man. I know what it's
starting
about.
giants.
Have you watched all of season 3 yet? Have you
Does it
have
matter?
you read any of the manga beyond
I have
that
not
point?
read the manga, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about TV shows here. So, anyways, Outer Limits versus Attack on Titan. I'll go with you, Breakman.
Outer Limits is a great show. It wasn't as good as the Twilight Zone, but in the 90s, I think it was, there was an Outer Limits like remake that I thought was absolutely fantastic. I loved it even more than the original. There was an ongoing story I remember with like an alien invasion going over multiple episodes, and it culminated with what's his name? The T-1000. What's that guy's name?
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick.
Yeah, so yeah, he was in it in that episode, and then there was other ones like that. A lot of cool stuff. Outer Limits.
Okay, I'm going with Outer Limits as well, even though I disagree with Eric. I think Attack on Titan is definitely in the horror genre. I know there's other genres you could put it in, but I mean, the gore alone should
So there's
shade
lots
that
of
way.
shows out for him.
Oh,
Goblin
yeah,
Slayer
and
has
they would
four
be in the horror genre. Okay, next matchup we got here, a show I really love, Penny Dreadful anything from vampires to Dorian Gray to werewolves to hauntings to all kinds of horrific shit versus Sleepy Hollow, which we all kind of know. I mean, it was a surprising series for sure. I like both, but Penny Dreadful to me is an all-time kind of scary show, and it ended fairly okay. I wish they would have had one more season to
It
flesh
had a
that out.
terrible ending.
It did have a terrible ending because they rushed it, but that was only because they had to. Really like Penny Dreadful. I'm picking Penny Dreadful. What say you, Breakman?
Penny Dreadful had its moments. I enjoyed it sometimes, but overall, I felt kind of like like you said, they had to rush the ending. So there were a lot of like I just didn't feel satisfied when it ended, type things. And I mean, with Sleepy Hollow, it probably went on for longer than it should have too. But the first season of Sleepy Hollow was so much fun.
I don't know.
I love that.
I'm going with Penny Dreadful because Sleepy Hollow is just the Ichabod story, really.
Yeah, but it was good. The series was good, Eric. But I agree, Penny Dreadful's a better show overall with a lot more. And Freak 5 is exiled, by the way. All right, next I got the Chilling Adventures.
Okay, listen, we have to move on. I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. The updated take on Sabrina the Teenage Witch versus Night Gallery. So speaking of Rod Serling, Breakman, what say you?
I never saw Night Gallery. I heard of it, but I never saw it.
Okay.
But because Rod Serling, I have to give it to him because even though Sabrina is supposedly updated, it still seems like it's a kid's show to me. It seems like it's geared more towards them. I mean, it's not the feel-good TV show of the I don't know what channel it was.
It's basically the Sabrina version of Pretty Little Liars, is from what I can tell.
It's okay. It's updated and it's definitely scarier for sure, but it's still that teen angsty type thing. But Night Gallery to me is basically Twilight Zone, just a little less punchy. But I like Night Gallery quite a bit. I'm picking Night Gallery. What say you, Eric? Is it a clean sweep?
Night Gallery, because I haven't seen either of these, but it sounds more enticing by name.
Yeah, Night Gallery is really good. If you can imagine some twisted stories in the vein of Twilight Zone, just not as good, then that's Night Gallery. All right, next is From Dusk Till Dawn versus The Returned. And The Returned is basically about a bunch of people that unexpectedly come back from the dead. They've been missing for a long time and they just come back. It's horrific in the fact that there's a lot of missing time. So there's that, and of course From Dusk Till Dawn carries on the story of the brothers in Dusk Till Dawn. So what say you, Break?
Oh, I love Dusk Till Dawn. Fucking movie is amazing. I never saw the TV show.
Yeah, Freak 5 says The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was dark as fuck. It is dark for sure. Well, I'm sorry, what'd you say, Break?
I've never seen the TV show From Dusk Till Dawn, but yeah, what was the other choice again?
The Returned.
Oh, The Returned. I'm not sure if we saw that or not. Mrs. Brinkman thinks that we might have watched an episode and we just didn't like it. If it's the one we're thinking of, so Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, I'm also gonna pick Dusk Till Dawn. I
already lost, but I probably would have gone with Dusk Till Dawn anyways, just because it's more familiar to me.
Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn is a good TV show. So is The Returned. The Returned is, I don't know, it's good. It's hard for me to watch the movie after watching the series.
Yeah, the movie's basically schlock.
The series is good, man. The series is good. Okay, next up we have Black Summer, which is basically a post-apocalyptic zombie TV show, versus Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm calling it right now, man. Ash vs. Evil Dead. I mean, I think we're all going to be in agreement. Ash vs. Evil Dead's a great TV show.
I think they're probably one of the three best shows on this list.
Okay. We may agree, we may disagree on that, but let's move on. The Stand, which is more of a miniseries, but I was kind of grasping for straws, versus Freddy's Nightmares, the story the show that basically just had Freddy as a host and nothing to do with anything else. What say you, Breakman?
I actually have never seen it. That one.
I'm just gonna say it probably sucks, so I'm going with The Stand.
Okay, what say you,
I
Blake?
did see The Stand. I actually enjoyed The Stand when I was young. I doubt seriously it's something that holds up today, though.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm still gonna go Stand.
Okay, I'm also gonna go with The Stand because the Freddy's Nightmare TV show I didn't like at all. It was, yeah, okay.
It
Brimstone.
had nothing to do with Freddy at all. Just he was there.
Did I have Charmed on the last list?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay, I got it.
Uh,
I
we-
got it. I got it.
You could put Are You Afraid of the Dark on there instead.
No, I in honor of Mrs. Breakman, I'm putting the Munsters on
Monsters.
here. Brimstone.
The Munster cheeses.
Yeah, Brimstone versus
She likes you.
Munsters. I'm going with Brimstone because Brimstone was about the devil. I've seen this series, Wyland. I know you talked about it before. I'm going with Brimstone, man. I think it's an underrated kind of gem. I know it's hard to go against the Munsters. What say you, Eric?
I'm going with Brimstone. 'cause
Oh, okay. What
I don't
say
like-
you?
I never liked the Monsters.
What say you, Breakman?
I'm not the biggest fan. I always liked the Addams Family so much more than the Monsters. But
I like the
it doesn't-
Munsters,
I
all
think
right.
I'm gonna go with the Monsters.
Yeah, okay. Well, Brimstone moves on just based on Eric and I voting on Brimstone. Okay. Preacher, which is a wacky series, versus, oh, Jesus Christ. What was that series that you said, Eric?
You can't. What? Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Okay, that's on the list. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because the terror I did on the last list as well. Are You Afraid of the Dark versus Preacher? I'll start with you, Eric.
I never watched The Preacher.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go with Are You Afraid of the Dark. Probably because from name alone, Preacher doesn't have the variety that it has.
The Preacher is more about demonic possession and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What say you, Breakman?
Oh, The Preacher looks interesting to me, but I've never watched it. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I'm being threatened. I have to go for you. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Okay, it moves on, but I picked Preacher. I think Preacher's an underrated kind of show. Freak 5 agrees with me. Wyland says John Glover is awesome in Brimstone, and that's true. He's really good. All right, Scream, the series versus Kingdom Hospital, the old Stephen King series that had a lot of hoopla, but kind of fizzled out in the end. I'm going to go first on this. I like Kingdom Hospital quite a bit. I also think it's kind of underrated. It had this creepy hospital vibe to it with ghosts and shit like that. So I'm going with Kingdom Hospital. What say you, Eric?
It's Of the Dark. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Okay, Eric, Of the Dark.
But I'm gonna. I haven't seen either of these, but Scream's more familiar to me, so I'm going with that.
All right, what say you, Breakman?
Well, okay.
Scream versus Kingdom Hospital.
Yeah, I've never seen Kingdom Hospital, but I was so disappointed with the Scream TV show.
So was I, man. It's so
It was
disappointing.
like Scream was based on the whole let's avoid tropes and stuff and turn tropes on their head. Where the Scream TV show was let's go with every trope we can find.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the hospital show I didn't see.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just trust me, you made a good choice. Freak 5 says Mrs. Breakman is guilty of voter intimidation. Wyland says
You're a voter intimidator.
Yeah, Wyland says Scream is charming trash. I hated Scream, to be honest with you. To be honest, I didn't like the series at all. Okay, a couple more matchups here. Vampire Diaries versus Hannibal. I'm gonna go first on this one. I think Vampire Diaries is good for what it is, but it's more teen angst type stuff. Hannibal is straight up fucking horror. I love Hannibal, so I'm going with Hannibal. What say you, Eric?
I'm going with Hannibal.
What say you,
I haven't even seen Silence of the Lambs or the Hannibal movie that came before this.
You should watch those, but Hannibal the series is, man, it's so good. What say you, Break?
I've never seen either one of them, but I've seen enough commercials of the Vampire Diaries to know I know that I'd pick Hannibal.
Okay, you're not wrong, man. Hannibal is. You guys should put that on your list. You would like it, Breakman. You and Mrs. Breakman would love Hannibal. All right, Being Human, which includes vampires, ghosts, werewolves, all in the same, house basically, versus the Masters of Horror series, which included John Carpenter. I think Toby Hooper did an episode. McGarris, name them, and Stuart Gordon did an episode of Masters of Horror. I'll go with you, Breakman.
I guess I'm gonna go with Masters of Horror because I've never seen either one of these. Either.
Okay, Being Human is a charming, good show with a lot of horror elements, but I'm agreeing with you, Breakman. I'm gonna go with Masters of Horror. It's really good. What say you, Eric?
Masters of Horror.
Okay, Freak says my wife bought the complete series of Kingdom Hospital. I never actually watched it, but I listened to it. I would take a portable DV player to work and listen to TV shows and movies when I had a desk job. Hannibal was fantastic, Wyland says. It was. And it is. I hope it goes on. There's rumors, but anyways. All right. Lucifer versus Dracula. I'll go with you.
I heard Dracula sucked, so I'm going with Lucifer.
Okay. What say you? And I'm not talking the Jonathan Rhys-Meyers Dracula.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
The Netflix one. The Netflix one is actually...
the newest Dracula?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen that one then.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen either one of them. What do you guys think?
I'm going with Dracula. He went with Lucifer. Freak Pie says Lucifer.
Mrs. Brickman hasn't seen him either.
Okay, the Devil versus Dracula.
Well, okay, which one would make you happy, Frank?
I like both shows, actually. I think Lucifer has a lot of good elements, but mostly it's eye porn for women with the lead actor, with some fluff. Dracula, from what I've seen, is a different take on Dracula with a lot of the same old tropes, but I kind of like Dracula. But Wyland says I'm going with Lucifer because of the Constantine connection. So there you go.
He did show up in the Crisis episodes, as Freak was pointing out to me. So I guess I'll go with Lucifer then.
All right, Lucifer moves on. One more matchup.
It's based on a DC comic.
Yes, it is. Okay, last one: Haunting of Hill House, which is a newer one on Netflix, versus Supernatural, one of the longest running horror shows ever. So what say you, Eric?
Supernatural had an anime based off it, which is apparently kind of interesting, but petered out at the end. But
okay.
I heard Haunting of the Hill House is good though, so I'm going with that.
All right, what say you, Breakman?
I've never seen Haunting of the Hill House. I've only seen a few episodes of Supernatural. Supernatural seemed interesting enough. I guess I'm gonna go with Supernatural.
Okay, I think you're both wrong. I think Supernatural is one of the most overrated shows ever made.
Wait, I didn't say I was going with Supernatural.
He said Haunting.
Haunting of Hill House, yes.
Yeah, Eric said that. I said Supernatural.
Okay, and I... Oh, really?
You said we were both wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Both wrong.
Wait, I thought you said Supernatural because of the anime, Eric. So you're picking...
No, I mentioned it, but...
Oh, so I can eliminate Supernatural? Goodbye, Supernatural. Haunting of Hill House moves on. Freak Pie says, me and Mrs. Freak have been binging Supernatural. We reached season 12 this week. Well, congratulations on that wasted time, guys. Okay. Lots of interesting.
Show, huh?
I can't stand that show, man. I tried watching it. To me, it's just schlock and just filler. And sometimes you go through a season and you're like, what the hell just happened? And I think I stopped after like season 5 or 6. It just, to me, not super interesting. But I think what we all can agree on. Hang on, I gotta move something here. I think we can all agree that Donald Trump has been fired, right? So in honor of that, Breakman, I think you'll appreciate this. I got a little compilation kind of video, but I can't play the video, but I'll play this. See if you appreciate this, Breakman.
Screw you! You're fired! You're fired! Whoa!
Yeah, that's how I feel about what's been happening in the election. So anyways, we got to do our plugs, because we're well past our time. Breakman, plugs, please.
You can follow me at break underscore on Twitter or at RP Grinders on Twitter, where you can. Did I say break underscore? Break underscore man on Twitter.
Break underscore man. Yes, we
ask
got it.
Your breakman a question, or you could ask me to play the harmonica like this.
Oh dear Lord. Jesus Christ. You know what, Breakman? You're getting better and better every week, man. One of these days you're going to bust out like Bach on that fucking harmonica, I swear. Okay, Eric, you're up. Your plugs.
You can find me on sites I write reviews for, such as BostonBrashBrigade.com and TotallyGN.com. And if you like what I've written on those pages, you want to support me, sending me as little as $1 on my Patreon would help out. And my Patreon has a link on my Twitter profile, which is at EricRPG.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Frank Branches, on any of the systems, RP Grinders or Frank Branches. I can't remember. I think they're all RP Grinders at this point. I want to thank everybody in chat. Commander Root, our good friend Wyland. Let's do this _host raffle was in chat. I think that's a bot. Lurks was in chat. I know Lurks is not a bot. Need him is in chat. And our good friend Dungeon Freak 5, of course, was in our chat. And there was, Slagar was in our chat as well. So thank you all for joining the chat. Thanks to all the archive listeners. Really appreciate you all. You guys rock. Can't wait, to do more interactions with everybody, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. That being said, I think that's it. Anybody have anything else?
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
And fuck Trump.
Yeah, and fuck Trump. Speaking of that.
You're fired!
All right, everybody. Have a good, safe weekend. Stay safe this weekend. We want to see you back here next week. Till then, we're out.
You're fired! You're fired!
All right, everybody in chat, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. You guys rock as always. Thanks for joining and participating, et cetera, et cetera. Hope you guys enjoyed this quickened version of the TV shows. I had to put this thing together, and it wasn't very easy. I know I missed out on some. Like, I thought about some after, and I'm like, oh, fuck, why didn't I add that or whatever. But anyways, thanks, you guys. You guys rock. Have a good weekend, everybody.